I'm not an early person. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. I'm the same way.
I had a rehearsal last night that was very unconventional, and the cleanup from said rehearsal took all night.
Like how long all night?
I got back, and it was like dang near 2.
Oof, that is brutal.
For context, at the restaurant, we're organizing a fake hot dog eating contest where two of the contestants will have fake arms and a bunch of other stuff's like supposed to happen during it that makes things really messy. I'm glad I'm not the one eating the hot dogs. That's all I'll say about that.
Why is that? You're gonna expand a little bit more. I'm intrigued.
Because one person is supposed to be obsessed with ketchup and is gonna have an industrial thing of ketchup that he's just putting all over the place. And the arms, like we got to be the arms to force them to eat the hot dog, so they're not even using their hands to eat the food.
It almost like sounds a little jackass-esque.
It kind of is. It kind of is because you're at the mercy of whoever your arms are. So they could dunk it in water, put ketchup and there's a bunch of other random ingredients there that can make it worse, like chocolate, or just put dumb stuff on it, and you gotta eat it or not, which could be kind of funny too. If your hands like forcing something in your face, you're like, oh no.
I feel like that'd be so entertaining to watch.
There's another bit where this guy is like a food critic, and it's also just dumping a mountain of ketchup. It's a lot of ketchup for some reason. A lot of ketchup. Oh, hey, I like that.
Yeah, I figured, like last time I'd show it, and we also sniped Fading Jade's art. I'll give her a shout out though for that. And then Rixie went in and cleaned up his.
I did. Mm-hmm.
At first, I was like, "What's the difference?" When I was like pulling them, and then I looked and I was like, "Ah, this guy went in and cleaned up all the lines."
What are you trying to say? You trying to say it's dirty?
Well,
Is that it?
it's a 5-minute
Trying to say
sketch, and then
you
Rixie
trying to say I
spent
need a
another
shower?
10 minutes. So
No, no,
really,
no,
it
no,
says
no.
it's like
We
10 minutes.
gotta approach this. He said, I need a shower. Like his lines are clean and mine aren't. You know, I'm joking.
Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna be awkwardly silent until it was uncomfortable. But you started to panic a lot sooner than I thought.
I did. I was like, this is good.
So any topics do you guys want to kick off with? I was thinking we had like just a little bit of background in terms of where we came from and how we started playing Mabinogi. I know I personally heard yours, like both of yours, once or twice in other videos, but you know, maybe some people are new.
Wait, run it back. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I was
Hold on.
rambling a little bit. Background on yourself and how you started playing Mabinogi.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm cool with sharing that. Let me start it off.
Yeah, by all means.
All right. Well, so my gaming background before Mabinogi was purely Xbox 360 until it got the Red Ring of Death. And I'd see these commercials on TV for a game called MapleStory that were really weird, but it said free. And I like free because I didn't have any money except to pay for Xbox Live, which I was kind of mooching. It wasn't mine. But I played MapleStory for a few months, maybe a year actually. You know, it's hard. My time with MapleStory is kind of a blur because I just abruptly quit playing the game. Two things just made me angry, and I didn't touch it again. And it was I got scammed, and also the player base back then was a little bit more rough. Like people were just mean for some reason.
Yep.
And I tried Mabinogi next. At first, I'm kind of jumping around a bit. I tried Mabinogi first off of Nexon's site because I saw it and thought it was interesting, but my computer at the time couldn't run it. But once I had a different computer, I decided to try Mabinogi again, and I loved it. And at the time, there was that was like at the peak of machinima. For those oldies out there, if you remember it now, it's probably not really associated with anything good, which I completely understand and agree with. But back then, it wasn't as demonized as the phrase, and it just meant using videos or games to make media, like little shows, shorts, movies. Red versus Blue is like the first thing that comes to mind when you think of machinima.
Iconic.
And I was thinking about like how I get into machinima. I try it with Halo, but everyone was doing stuff with Halo. Plus, I didn't have a capture card. But Mabinogi lets you record in game. So with Mabinogi and a video editor and some recording software, I was like, I want Mabinogi to be my machinima. And I've been a Mabinogi player ever since. And that's why my characters all suck.
Just for making little skits the entire time?
Just nothing but sketches. Nothing but sketches. If I couldn't find someone to be in a sketch with me, I literally just made an alt character on a different account, which is super tedious. And I just played each character myself. That's why I have so many alt characters, and because of that, it's kind of a jack of all trades, master of nothing scenario where I never really progressed much in the story. I just would make dumb videos, talk to my guild, and then log out.
Yep, sounds like the peak Mabinogi experience.
Oh yeah.
What
How
about
about you?
Oh, okay, I'll go next then. So way back in the day, I think it was like I was either in middle school or maybe even elementary school. They had like these little like scholastic book fairs, right? I ended up getting a comic book from there, and there was actually an ad from like for Maple Story in the back of it. So I was like, all right, let me check this game out. It looks pretty cool. You know, 2D side scroller, pixel art. I was like, I'm down. I played that like you for a few months, and it was fun. Like I spent more time socializing in it than grinding. And then where did I see the ad? I think I was just browsing Nexon's website because the game went down, and at the time I didn't understand the whole point of server maintenance. I was like, what's going on with the game? Why can't I play? And I seen Mabinogi. I think they were about to roll into open beta, I believe. It might have even been closed beta, and I was like, I'll sign up for this game. And from there, that's where it all started. All from a comic book.
That's way cooler.
It's dumb luck.
I feel like Maple Story has been our gateway drug into Mabinogi so far. Fierlyt, don't say Maple Story.
Oh no. My story is way less cool. The way that I got into Mabi was basically my family was looking for like a game we could play together. And I was at a time I was in high school. And we were all like me and my brother and some of my stepsisters were all cyber schooled, so we all had computers. We were already like doing stuff like kind of on our own, and so we were looking for like something to do as a family. My mom somehow found Mabi. I don't know how. And then she was like, "Hey, why don't we all check this game out?" And so we all like signed on and started playing. Originally it was like my brother, my mom, my grandma played for a bit, you know, and so that kind of is where that started. That was like spring 2009. So
man, I wish my grandma played games with me.
Dude says his
she played for
was cool. Plays Mabinogi.
She played for a bit. She played for a bit, and then she had to quit because it was too much stress seeing her grandson get attacked by a bear.
Oh.
But the funny part behind all that is we were walking between Bangor and Dunbarton on like, you know, because Moongates only went to one location at a time, you know. So we're walking the whole way from Bangor to Dunbarton. and she stops for a second to like look at a thing, and a bear starts to aggro her, and I saw that, so I stepped in between to fight the bear, and I was like, just keep going, like, and I'll get away, right? It's fine.
Yeah.
This is when bears were like a significant threat to players because we're
Oh yeah.
like level 30 or something, you know. um and so I was like, run, go. And she's like, but you're being attacked by a bear. I was like, the bear was after you. So it was a whole ordeal. But yeah. So that's kind of like how I got into Mabby, I suppose.
And the amount
That's
of
actually
stress
really
that must
cool.
have caused her. Do you think? Okay. Do you think if like she were to have a heart attack, that could be a lawsuit from the stress the game caused her?
Nah, I
No.
don't think so.
I don't know. You guys are in the States, so like, I've heard some pretty crazy lawsuits happening down there over nothing.
There are a lot of dumb lawsuits, but they never really post the resolution to some of them. Like they don't. Some of them just don't go anywhere. But it's just news that someone tried to sue over this. Like a famous one that was misunderstood was the lady that sued because her soup from or her chili from Wendy's was too hot or something was too hot. It was a coffee or something.
Oh,
But
McDonald's. McDonald's. Yeah, the coffee one.
McDonald's. Yeah, the McDonald's coffee lawsuit is a famous one that's misunderstood because she got like serious burns from it.
Yeah, like from what I recall, it was like insanely hot. Like she had like, I forget the details, but I remember it was like really, really bad. Like not just a coffee burn, you know? Like,
Yeah, but I think that a lot of game companies they put like in their clause something in place that you can't sue us over this. Sort of like how all online interactions aren't rated. So if you go into an online game and someone's on some weird stuff, they're not responsible. Like, I can't control what they said.
that's fair.
And Sega really pushes that because I've been doing some research on some of their PSO game, and it's garnered a reputation that I can't tell if they own it or if they disavow it, but I'll leave it at that.
I'm gonna have to follow up on this one. No more.
We'll talk about that one later.
Yeah,
I don't think that was good for the podcast. Unless you don't care. I mean, it is interesting, but it's weird. It's not where a direction I expected it to go.
Is it kind of like the dark side of Final Fantasy 14, where there's all like these clubs and like the RPs where like people pay them real money to, you know?
I want you to imagine that, only instead of it being like the dark underbelly of the MMO, it's just like and the equivalent of what would be Dunbarton for us. Just out in the open.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, so do you guys have any topics or anything you want to talk about?
1 second. I'm going over I apologize if I'm a little sluggish right now. I'm waking up. I'm good. I'm ready to go. So here's the deal. Here's the dealio for realio. I actually do have a question for the both of you.
Both of
Yeah.
us.
All right. So when it comes to, I don't know if we'd ever talked about this before, but I'm just super curious. As creatives in the Mabinogi community, who primarily upload to YouTube, do you ever hit a creative wall, and what do you do to get around that? Like, what motivates you to continue creating content around Mabinogi?
Fierlyt, you can go first.
Okay. For me, this is kind of easy to answer. I don't usually hit like creative walls. The biggest wall for me is just finding the time to actually get to the projects that I want to work on. I've got a backlog of projects. Goodness, the list is long. So I never run out of things to do or ideas to work on. They just keep coming. But Mabby's just kind of a game like that where there's so much you can do and so many aspects to the game. It's hard to like a lot of times when I log in, it's hard to find, like harder to decide what to do rather than find something to do. There's just so
Mhm.
much. And it's kind of like that for making videos as well. And my original motivation to making videos is to keep my video editing skills sharp in between like commissions and projects like that. So to kind of rewind a bit, after I got out of college, right? I went to college for filmmaking and video production, and after I got out, I kind of restarted on Mabi, where uh, I hadn't played while I was in college, and then I kind of came back to the game after the fact,
Mhm.
uh, kind of as like stress relief and just enjoying myself now that I don't have 3 jobs and full-time classes and all that stuff. Um,
Okay.
Yeah, and so I got back into the game, but it was a nightmare because there's so much that changed while I was gone. It just wasn't the same game anymore, and in a good way, but it was very different. And it took me a long time to get caught up on what all the changes were, like who this Blanid person was that didn't exist before, like all this kind of stuff. And so it kind of inspired me. I was like, man, there should be like a video guide on how to do this, how to do that, what this new system is. I had no idea what erg was. So as soon as I learned what erg was and how to do it, I kind of put out like a short little video on like what it was, because I thought that would be really helpful for the community. Um, and that kind of started me on the track to like kind of making the tutorial and guide content that I do now.
That's actually super cool. Um,
Yeah.
on the topic of they're just not there's just I feel like there was a turning point in the Mabinogi community where people just stopped like just uploading. Like before, like people would just upload just anything. Like it'd be like their characters just doing
Mm-hmm.
something fun with their guild, or there's lots of let's plays of the game. But now it's like I'm calling it the great content drought, where there's like a handful of people that just randomly upload anything Mabinogi, like even like unedited, just like you don't see it anymore. You rarely see like people
Mm.
PvPing, or our guild held a tournament, or people showing off music that they're playing. You don't see that much anymore. And the lack of let's plays in particular and guides, um I think some you don't think it's that important until you're in a situation like where I was in, where all of us were putting our heads together for hours to figure out whether or not a quest I was on was just straight up broken, or if I'm just stupid
Mm.
and I'm not reading the quest right. So people were looking for let's plays, and there's like maybe one person who's played that far and recorded it to see exactly where these specific characters are supposed to spawn. So I just think
That's
it's
true.
interesting that see like what motivates someone to upload anymore, because I kind of wonder if people even know that there is a in-game recording feature anymore. I mean, I don't recommend using it these days, but
True.
there.
True.
I wonder if they
Though
updated
I do
it at
know
all. Sorry.
some people that use the in-game recording feature still
Yeah,
to help them
actually,
out.
Lumina does actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When she told us that, I was like, "Come
Whoa.
on!"
Big files, big files. That's all I'll say about that.
Yep.
They're freaking huge. But for me, when I hit a creative wall, I because it's kind of funny, because throughout my time uploading, I had sort of incorporated a community element to some of the bigger things that I uploaded, like maintenance, for example, is pretty. It started out as something completely different. It kind of evolved into maintenance from something called Welcome to Avon, which was just me joking about my guild members' random video clips they'd upload, or they'd send it to me, and then I would voice them over and send them back, and they'd be like, "Ha, that's stupid." But then I'm like, what if I did this with like everybody's clips? So then that was maintenance. But back then, the website was different. You could post video responses or you could send direct messages. There were ways for me to find videos that people created that they consented to being in a compilation of sorts. But as the website changed, and also as like, I don't want to say like the attitude, but sort of, yeah, like sort of like the mentality
Hmm.
towards like uploading videos to like the average person that plays Mabinogi is also just changed so much that whenever someone asks me like when is the next maintenance, when are you going to make that again, I kind of want to say that it can't exist anymore with the current mindset that people have towards uploading videos, because there wasn't just me, you know. I had people like Troll uploading videos who I don't think plays Mabinogi anymore, but he's cool. Shout out to Troll if he ever watches this video. um Other creative people would start making little skits to throw into the hat, you know. Maintenance was a collaboration, but with no collaboration, I feel like the spirit of it wouldn't be the same. It would just be my own sketches, and it wouldn't be maintenance anymore at that point. I think part of the
It's
fun
true.
was like sort of making up a scenario out of whatever was thrown at me. And I don't
Culture's
know.
just kind of shifted.
Yeah, it just shifted. So I
Hmm.
kind of wonder like how how you could bring that back, you know? I don't mean to like jump topics here a little bit, but um
I
I
mean, people
know.
could submit their ideas of what they want to see as a sketch, you know? So that way, like, you can pop their comment up at the top of the screen and then just kind of go off the top of your head, you know what I mean?
That's true. That's actually a good idea. That could work. Just taking the idea rather than like the video, just take their idea and then kind of incorporate that into a sketch.
Yeah, like you can ask them to drop like a 30-second sketch idea and it can just be like essentially SNL, you know?
That's I'm gonna write that down. Actually, that could work. That could work.
I find early Mabinogi to like now the shift of like I don't want to say people aren't fun anymore, but people are more focused on getting stronger and grinding opposed to just messing around in the world, you know?
Yeah.
I think that probably takes away from people wanting to upload because there is quite a few people, not to poop on the Reddit, but everyone's very critical over there when it comes to people's gear and what they're doing and why aren't they min maxing? Why aren't you running best in slot? Why are you wearing this fashion Ogi stuff? But I find that kind of takes away from the fun. Early Mabinogi, everyone was just kind of exploring the world, chatting, making random sketches, and like you weren't having people kind of pooping on them for it.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. That's a really good point. Like, gone are the days of people being like, "Oh wow, you have Paladin? This dude's flexing." You
Yeah,
know?
Hmm.
And to add to that, because I truthfully, I sort of feel this at random times. Like, I think one critique I get is that I don't stream the game as much, and I think people forget that I'm not really a streamer. More like I do stream games. Don't get me wrong, and there's a period of time where I was streaming like almost every day. But like, if I'm not feeling the vibe, I'm just not feeling the vibe. But with Mabinogi, because my character has never really been that like min maxer that's ever really been geared to like run content, and I've never really two things. My whole guild I hung out with, I don't think anybody in there did content. Like I never had like that friend group to even like get me up to speed to do stuff with. So there's a lot of stuff that I just genuinely either did not know or just didn't have an interest in. So what I noticed is that sometimes if I don't have like a set thing to do when streaming and it becomes content focused, it is so hard for me to stay engaged unless I'm with the right group. If I'm with the right group, then I can have fun doing it. But if I'm like just getting info, and I'm not blaming anybody. Let's let me put that out there. Anyone watching this, if you run content, I'm not saying that you're boring or nothing like that. Let me just set the record straight. I'm just saying that the way I process information sucks. So if you tell me how to do something and then I immediately just mess it up, that's why. So it's just not fun for me because if I have to like remember all this info and then I'm worried about getting it wrong and then ruining it for everyone else. Like I don't care if I die, but if my mistake makes something less fun for everybody else,
Yeah.
then I'm not having fun. And that's
To be fair though, man, when the streamer messes up, that's the entertainment for the audience.
oh, well, they getting a lot of that from me. I don't know if you saw the last stream I did where I got pulled into an advanced tech doing, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And people were asking me these questions like, did you level up this pet to this? I'm like, the what? Do you have DOD? The what?
Yeah,
I know I looked at it and that stuff was rank E. I looked at my camera like, oh, accidentally pressing the cooking tab because cooking was hotkeyed mid battle and dying.
All right, I do
And
just want to
somebody
say
just really hated me. They got a lot of ammo. That's all I'm saying.
well, one thing you do
that
have
one
to
scene.
immediately do is work on leveling up one of your pets. It's such a game changer.
That's true. That's true.
Like out of everything else, that's what you need to do.
I just imagine the meme of like let him cook, just like in the middle of combat, and the enemy's like no, just no.
Dies. I just want someone to draw like a Malaysian aggressively stirring a pot while Baylor is just hovering over them, ready to like grab them.
You
They're
can
just
have,
sweating,
like-
but they scream.
You can have like soup splashing out that's like burning him, doing damage.
Yeah. I gotta cook now. And the party's like, no,
Gotta get this catered.
I gotta make this food. I don't know. It's just, I feel like more people need to talk about this because back in the day, there were even events that promoted creating videos. So I feel like at this point, it kind of it's a mantle that we as soul streamers could take up and hold contests that are more geared towards making a video of some sort. Now I could see some people saying that could be exclusionary to some people who don't do that, but at the same time I feel like that shouldn't be a big issue because even back in the day there was like the my favorite one was the commercial contest to make a commercial for Mabinogi, and there were some surprisingly good submissions from people. If you look at the channels that don't make vid, that was their only upload.
Like,
Or
to be honest, like the community will blow you away every time you ask them to show off some of their skills and talents. I mean, when we did the cipher,
yeah.
I don't know what we expected, but it wasn't what we got. Like what we got was way better than what we were expecting to get. That was
Yeah, it was crazy
fire,
good.
dude. So, like, if you just engage the community, I think we'd be able to pull out something like that.
Oh yeah, I think we should do some more contests, like bring back the commercial contest or some kind of we just do some giveaways based off of like making some sort of video or idea. I think that'd be cool. I
agree.
expressed that sentiment before, and someone I don't remember who, they're like, "That's no one's gonna do that." Then I should have said we did a cipher and then we got a bunch of submissions. So you're wrong, but
I feel like timing it with like a big update would also work as well. Like theme it around the update, you know?
Yeah.
Because aren't we supposed to get like instead of Glen Verna, aren't we supposed to get like Glen Verna? That's like stage 2 of it.
Kind of. Everything's subject to translation. So like we know like Alchemic Stinger and Dark Mage are coming, but we don't know that those are the names that they'll settle on.
Yeah, that's fair. But we could like theme the video contest around those, you know?
We should.
And then like yeah.
100% should. Yes. But on the topic of hitting a wall, I find that whenever I get burnt out creatively like on one thing, that it helps to like reapproach it but like with a different medium. So like maybe like doing something that's IRL but still jokes about Mabinogi, or in the case of like the last upload, trying to make it look like it's a cinematic music video, like with film grain. Just finding weird ways to like get goofy with it, I think is how I get over it. If that makes sense.
No, it does. It actually, it's a good way to do it, honestly. I think for me, when it comes to like hitting a creative wall, what's really helped is always trying to see how much further I can take editing and like creating like an aesthetic for my videos. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I kind of just
I get it. I like your aesthetic. I really do.
like I find most videos are like very energetic and very high going. And then I was like, you know what? Let me hone in on something. Like sometimes it's nice to just have like a relaxing video. Let me see what I can do with that. And that kind of stemmed with just um like me doing a recap of like my time coming back to Mabinogi, and then I was like, how can I make it bleed over into like other videos? But sometimes when I hit a creative wall, I try to do like one-off videos that I normally wouldn't do, just different editing, different music,
Hmm.
different energy.
It could be fun to experiment with stuff like that. But also, I really do get what you mean. Where like how like in a sea of videos where everyone's just like super high energy, like sort of in your face. Sometimes you need a break from all that. Something that's a little more laid back.
Hmm.
Yeah, especially with Mabinogi where it's not very fast paced. So I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I make this work? Like recapping me doing an entire generation, that's not exciting. So let me just chop it up, tell a story, and kind of make it relaxing.
If there is one thing that even myself, I find I'm guilty of not realizing that we have, there are a lot of just scenic structures and things. Like you wouldn't think that Mabinogi is a pretty game until you like stop to look at like the little moving parts to appreciate like
Mm-hmm.
I want to say the illusion of this 3D world, but I feel like that's rude. But it's just like dang, that's actually kind of impressive. Like the extent that they push this little engine to build this world. You see things that you didn't think were in motion. Like my favorite example is like looking at the windmill in Tier, but then if you look at it like if you look at the opposite direction, the way the hills and bridges are lined up, it's really freaking pretty. There's so many areas where like if you want to like do like a chill like commentary style video, which I think commentary content in the Mabinogi's content sphere is king. I don't want to admit that, but like it's kind of disheartening to like fully edit and go all in on like a video and then just do one where you're talking about the game of like minimal edits but nice looking ones, and it just blows it out of the water. I don't know what it is, but people like to listen to other people talk about Mabinogi, even people who don't play it. I looked at some data and I want to do a joke video about this. But people who don't, and I feel like it's kind of crossover with just like the commentary meta on YouTube. But there are people who will sit for hours and listen to you talk about MMO, especially if it's critical. If it's something critical, it doesn't have to be negative when I say critical, but it's critical of something, they will listen. Your retention goes through the roof. That's the secret right there.
How to
That's the
break
secret.
the algorithm.
Yeah, how to break it.
Taking notes.
You can test it right now. Talk about something that you don't like or both, and just upload yourself talking about it. I bet money you will see a sizable bump in views. I'm guilty of this. Literally, that's why I was talking about Fantasy Star. I don't play Fantasy Star, but I watched like a 5-hour video of someone talking about it, and I was invested.
Get invested, yeah.
I'm
It's
ready
like,
to
oh,
jump in and expose all the bad things in the game.
oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about the underground scene in Mabinogi. Yeah, I'm talking about the dead bee trade.
PvP scene. Goodness. Ooh.
I was actually thinking of so before I wanted to apply for Soul Streamers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before being associated with like Mabinogi to like an official capacity, I was thinking of like doing a series that was like kind of like Chris Hansen type beat, and just
Uh-huh.
finding the scummiest and scummiest people and just like baiting them, then reporting them. But I don't think I could do that now. It would just feel wrong. Like I don't think they would say anything to stop me. Who knows, depending on like how bad it was, right? But
Yeah.
it's just something I wouldn't feel comfortable doing with now.
You know, I I I hate that I want to I want to see that series, but at the same time I would not be I I want to
You
have
could do
more.
it sarcastically, like just all the information's just staged. You
Yeah,
could do
just
it
fake.
for entertainment value.
Yeah, but sometimes I know myself, okay? Sometimes I push the line a little too far. So I would think it's funny, but I personally have a dark sense of humor. And then somebody would watch this and they'd be like, wow, this is really happening in Mabinogi. I don't want to play this game.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's true. Just put like a /s at the end of the video, like, oh, this was just sarcastic. We're not actually talking about beef here. We're just,
At the end
starting
of
a
the
pod.
video, and I have like a 5% like retention rate for the entire video.
If you open it up with like that black
Disclaimer at the
screen,
start.
super scary disclaimer.
Yeah.
The video you're about to watch is purely satire. It's not real.
Yeah.
None of this has happened in the game that I know of.
That I'm aware of.
This is a recreation of
I'm
an
aware
event that
of,
never occurred.
Deniability is really important.
Yeah, that could be pretty fun.
I just I don't know, man. I've heard some really funny stories and witnessed something it sounds worse than it actually is, but the backlash that happened from it was just so goofy that I don't know if anyone's ever talked about. There was a group that would sell like, you know how like in Japan you can buy a buddy
Mhm.
for a day. You can rent a buddy for a day.
True.
There was a guild that basically just capitalized on that. Like you couldn't just join it. You had to apply and be interviewed because they don't want someone with like a bad personality to do it. And they offered basically companionship. Like, oh, I'll be your buddy for a while. I'm like, I can't believe they monetize just being someone's friend for a day. I don't know if if at the time that rental girlfriend anime was popular or not, but it gave me big rental girlfriend vibes because it was primarily girls, I think, and one dude. Now that already doesn't look good, but they got accused of some heinous stuff and it backfired. But that would be a funny concept.
I wonder how much they were charging.
You know, I'd be curious to know. But actually, wait. Well, I'm not gonna call them. I'm not gonna say who it was. But I saw something. Actually, I saw something that made me go, oh, never mind. Strange.
If they're charging in-game gold, I'll make an alt and I'll 110% pretend to be a girl. No issue. I'll hang out with someone for a day.
Let's just do a stream. It's like we're rental buddies. Rent a gold streamer.
So we gotta make gold somehow.
I mean, it's funny that somebody tried that out, and you could theoretically do that. But I mean, I guess it's no different than like back when people would charge for ideals. You were basically renting a girlfriend or boyfriend for another NPC for like a couple of seconds.
It's true. And what was it, Mana Shield, I think?
Oh yeah. Mana Shield. People monetize people. I guess there's a long history of monetizing people, because even this was dirty. I felt like I remember this because I gave them a whole speech. I said, what you're doing goes against everything that you signed up for. You should be ashamed of yourself. And it was a royal alchemist charging for their services to help clear content. Like, you are a royal alchemist.
Ouch.
Lore-wise, the kingdom hired you to help people, and you're charging us money on top of that? Disgusting.
I would have loved to see you go off on this guy.
I was actually offended. They're like, you're taking this way too serious. Like, no, it's the principle of the matter, man. Like, I know, like, there's only so many people who can be a royal alchemist, and you're consuming this slot with greed. You should quit. You should quit your job now. I was mad. Now it's funny, but I was actually mad. I don't even know if it matters anymore. I don't know if it. I don't think I've ever even seen a Real Alchemist anymore. But
Oh, I seen one
They're out there.
recently.
They're about.
I wonder if that person's still a Real Alchemist.
Probably not. I'm probably ran him out.
I hope so. I had an angry mob. I had an angry mob of Otakians. Like, let's get him. Get him. This dude's charging money. It should be free. And then another Royal Alchemist. I got you, bro. And have these games for free. They were cool. I wish I remember their name, but they were cool.
Out of curiosity, have you ever became a Royal Alchemist, Fierlyt?
No, I never applied.
That surprises me.
Yeah, me too. Don't you get a fancy outfit for it?
Not an outfit I'd wear.
Roasting it. Okay, hold on,
Bro, the title's garbage, doesn't give anything for me. The outfit, garbage, doesn't give me stats I want. Come on.
The Queen of Terror right now is in the fetal position. Or she's busted to the room with the people who wrote it. Like, fix it now.
Like, if you're gonna ask me to be like a volunteer worker for you, you better be handing me something on the equivalent of a D-robe or something. Like, come on, you could do better. Tara can do better.
Instead of making it so that you have to apply to be a Real Alchemist, it should be like jury duty, and you just get stuck with the role, the outfit, and the title.
You can't take it off either.
Could you imagine?
Just like kicks you out of content that you're running so you can go help people. It's like, oh, by the way, there's a request for a Royal Alchemist over here. You need to go do that now.
But it kicks you. Oh yeah. It just black screens and loads you in. You meet a player. Oh, I'm sorry, bud. This is over with.
Oh man, that would be such a funny thing to do.
What if Mabinogi had jury duty? That's what it would be like. Or like, isn't there something you got to do as a part-time job where you have to deliver mail to a player?
Yeah, apparently it's more broken than we realize because so first of all, it gives you a random player to deliver the mail to. And normally this is like, all right, you go through, like, add the person, but there's a friends list cap, so you can't really add the person if they have too many friends. So how do you communicate? Well, they kind of fix that with the send messages, but you can turn off friends from messages from non-friends. So that's hit or miss. But then on top of it, like, all right, what if the person's just AFK? Now you can't complete the quest. But there's an extra level to it that was discovered recently, or I learned about it recently. I don't know if it was discovered recently. There's a trade lock that happens after you first purchase NX on a new account, that prevents you from being able to trade with people. If your account is under that lock and the person gets you as the part-time job, you can't trade that person the item to complete the quest.
Oh.
So it's like they basically gave you somebody that even if they're not AFK, even if you can send them the message, even if you can meet up with them, you could still not be able to complete the quest.
I think the trade locks were like almost a month too. If not, it's like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a significant period of time. Prevent bots.
Okay, I guess in that regard, that makes sense. You know, the other element to that is people just are naturally suspicious of just someone trading them something. Depending on how old of a player they are. I guess the newer players maybe less so, but I know a lot of older players have just unfortunately had their trust in a lot of the game's mechanics shredded.
Yeah. I mean, I know people that are still afraid of Black Robe.
Yeah.
And the view equipment thing.
You have view equipment. Like, people who don't enable view equipment, there are someone's like, man, they just are petty and don't want people to know what they got. Like, it could be that, but more realistically, it's probably that they're an old player and they're just scared of getting black robed.
Yeah, I should probably mention why. There was a thing that happened a good while ago that they've since patched out. But basically, if you had your view equipment on, people could look at what equipment you had and then specifically delete items off of you because they had like the item IDs or whatever and could just if they knew specifically what you had, they could specifically rip that. So you wouldn't be able to like fight against it. And the only way to avoid getting your items deleted is just turn off your view equipment.
That's so terrifying.
Yeah. Good
Really?
thing they patched that. Whew.
Oh yeah.
That was an awful span of time where it's like,
How long was like this
I don't
window of
know.
like opportunity there for? Like if you
I
had to
remember it was
ballpark.
specific, like real. I remember it was like really bad for a month, but I don't know how long it persisted before then, or how quick they were with a patch. But I just remember like it being a massive topic of discussion. Like people were like yelling in the streets of Dunbarton,
Fallout
"Turn off
was
your equipment view if you don't want your items deleted. I lost blah blah blah," you know, and it was just.
To bring it into perspective, that is a period of time in the Mabinogi community that people commonly refer to as the Hackopolis.
True.
Everything that could have gone wrong did. It was not even just items being deleted. You had that was the birth of the dead bee meme because gold was so devalued. There's a video that I got that I didn't even think about. I thought it was complete. Thought it was weird, but with this new context in mind, I witnessed a hacker duplicating reindeer antlers. And what bothers me the most isn't the fact that they're just duping reindeer antlers. It's the fact that their character went into an animation where they squatted and pooped out the reindeer antlers. And I have proof, video proof. That's what they were doing. I'm like, how? Usually visual side things are only like, on their end. You can't see it on your end. But I saw the animation on my end.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like an animation that was never released to the public.
It wasn't like, when I say squat, I guess I would say it's not an inappropriate one. It's more like someone trying to go Super Saiyan, like a squatting animation, sort of like a charging. Maybe like what the imps do when they're charging magic or they're about to aggro you. But it just it was very shocking to see. But people were doing that and then mass selling them to get infinite gold, which devalued gold to the point that dead bees were more valuable than gold. Gold was worthless. NPCs were dead on the streets. R.I.P. Fergus. He's probably the first to go.
That's so crazy to hear like the gold become like obsolete in the game.
Yeah, like that was the wildest one. Like
there were some dark times.
Yeah. Every MMO has their like it was the end time story. I think that's Mabinogi's, because just the act of killing the NPCs just killed the game. You couldn't. There's so many things you couldn't do anymore.
That's so funny.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but there were times where all of Dunbarton would die because of like two people decided to do an EVG and an elf used Mirage missile, and now every single person in Dunbarton is dead because they like exit the PvP, and when they exit the PvP they still have the status effect that'll spread, and at the time Mirage missile could actually kill. So you'd see like all these people in Dunbarton that had their shops up got their shops ruined because they had died, and they were like standing next to it to keep it open.
The sea of corpses. I do remember seeing that. It's so funny. It also it's kind of it's sad but funny to see like a random dead player, like either they left EVG on or they're the victim of some serious shenanigans.
Speaking of EVG, after you released that video, I decided to turn on EVG and go around and meteor strike people, right? And I would like be peeking around the corner so they really couldn't see me if they panned their camera. And it was hilarious. Like they were getting so mad. Like they were saying things I could have reported them for and gotten them banned. But
Oh my god.
the best is like hitting them with meteor strike and flying right above them so they can't see you, but you can see them. Anyways, the point of the story is I left it on and I went AFK for like a few hours and I came back and I had a random message saying like some random group saved me and to turn off EVG, and they knocked me to the edge of the map so nobody could find me.
That's so cool.
It's like some random Crusader group. Like what is going on here?
We have some secret heroes in Mabinogi.
Yeah, really.
Hmm.
I wish I would have taken a screenshot, but I was just so like confused and puzzled. Like I immediately did a 360 around me to see if there's anyone watching me. Like it was just unsettling.
We saw that you left EVG on, and that's not safe. We want to protect your gear and your durability and your dignity, so we pushed you to the farthest corner of Dumbarton using Wind Blast. You're welcome.
We also had a healer on on deck, so
I
you
wanna see
didn't
how-
die while we were doing it.
Yeah, like they kept like healing and like it's a complicated procedure. Like you have to be trained to do this. This T
It's like,
takes
all right, so
teamwork.
wire pull in tandem, and then the third person healing, like just yoink him over.
You know what? I want to get this on camera. I'm gonna go AFK and just leave EVG on and wait and just have it recording the whole time.
You should do that. Like those old videos, like walking as insert at here in New York City, uninterrupted for so many hours. I left EVG on for 24 hours in Mabinogi, and this is what happened. I had made it a point that whenever I'd stream, I'd leave it on as a joke until somebody griefed me. And it's funny because it backfired off stream. Somebody, for whatever reason, had a vendetta against me because I was just laughing about it, but they just randomly started attacking me with arrows in Dumbarton and said, Elves rule. It said, some solo streamer you are. I was like, oh, this is like, you're taking this a little too seriously, bud. But it's funny to see, like, who still uses it, because I feel like my theory is you could have EVG on now and be mostly safe, but now I don't know. The story you told me and that encounter, maybe it's less so.
Yeah,
What if
maybe
we all
like
had EVG on and see who
the
dies
hate
first?
crimes for like elves and giants are still very much real.
They're still, the elf and giant hate is high, even though isn't that ending like,
Soon.
aren't elves and giants finally gonna be able to get married?
There's a truce. It's a truce right now. They are getting that patch later this year, where elves and giants can get married. But right now, it's just it's a very loose truce in kind of word only. There's still very much some hostility under the surface.
As an elf during these trying times, how do you feel about the elf giant marriage?
I know some elves that have wanted it for a while.
Such as
But
yourself?
no.
Oh.
I'm okay. I'll pass.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt your train of thought.
No, just cut that I'll pass, put news music over it, and be like, racist elf. No, I'm
You'd
joking.
never find me marrying a giant.
I'll never do it.
Elves are the superior race.
So,
You heard it here first, folks.
random question: what would an elf giant baby look like?
Oh God. Either
It would be the fastest thing on the planet.
Would they be short and chunky, or would they be tall and just very skinny with long, like super fast long legs?
I imagine it's just a taller elf, right?
just be like a big elf with like long ears.
That'd be so cursed.
They still can't hold two weapons though, so they'd be like a less cool giant.
You got me sad again, man. Like every time I'm reminded, I got like freaking 1700 strength, can't hold a sword.
I keep forgetting that's a thing.
All right. Or two-handed. I said two weapons. I meant two-handed. You got me though.
Both. Can't do either.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, elves can't dual wield. You're right. That's weird.
Would you ever consider switching to a human?
Uh, the effort to re-roll at this point would be significant for me. So it's kind of a like you'd have to give me a very good reason, and I just don't think any good enough reason exists in the game right now. I could see like for a video I might build a human character to a certain extent, but I like my elf, man. I like moving fast.
That is fair. You did gap us in that little foot race.
Dude is literally
Yeah,
silent.
code blue with all the speed bonuses, and I'm just like, goodbye.
Fierlyt, you got any topics?
Yeah. So what's everybody got in the oven right now? What's everybody working on?
Let me start. Or
You can.
Yeah.
what have I got in the oven right now? For the longest time, I've been trying to finish How to Fly in Mabinogi, because it's just missing one scene, and it's the actual flight part. I thought it'd be really funny if I went to an indoor skydiving place and actually tried to like mimic one of the flying animations from the game, and then just utterly fail. So that's like the big thing I'm really trying to get out. And then of course you got the Mobby documentary, which is coming along. It's coming along. And also I've just been really really just kind of shoehorning in my theater friends and forcing them to do Mabinogi related stuff with me. So the next one I want to do is something about overplaying. There's a guy in our group that is really funny and he plays the guitar, and I want to just have him get progressively pissed off that like I'm playing shittier like in his vicinity. That'd be pretty funny.
I feel that as a bard.
But that's all I got cooking for now.
Hero, what do you got in the works? You working on more of those Mabby 101 videos?
Yeah, I'm working on more. It's hard to keep them under 10 minutes and cover everything under the topic, while also
I know that feeling.
not being overly informative, because like what I wanted to do was capture kind of like the Lorna and Pan vibes, and I kind of missed the mark with that one in my last video, just because I was like, oh, I'm already at 10 minutes and I still haven't included any weird sketches. And even though like the weird sketch so far has just been the Italian guy with AI voice, but other than those, I don't think I have anything planned so far. I want to do like a one-off video of like, I don't know, maybe sometime next month, quizzing new players to get a chance to get like gachapon items. Something
That sounds
like
fun.
beat. Yeah. But other than that, not too much.
I'm currently working on a redo of a video on spirit weapons, because I know there's a spirit weapon update coming, and I want to preempt that. And I just don't feel like the videos I have out on spirit weapons are good enough. There's currently 3 videos that are all separate. One of them is like a spirit weapon feeding for dummies, and it has no vocal, nothing like that. It's just me in like a time lapse feeding a bunch of spanners to my spirit weapon. It doesn't even explain anything. It's more of a meme than a guide, and I want to actually include that information somehow. And then the other 2 were just like initial reactions to the Spirit Ascension update. They had the information, but it wasn't laid out in a good format, I feel like. So I'm redoing that. And then there's a couple of projects that are in the works. So we'll see how those pan out.
Oh, speaking of, I'll approve you on my channel to post links in the comments, but if I ever, like, sometimes I'll scan your channel and I might not necessarily see the tutorial up front, but if I ever post like a Mabby 101 and you're like, hey, I covered this topic more in depth, you should just post the link into my comments. So that way.
Is it gonna ban me? Is it gonna be like, no, that's bad, no link?
No, I'm gonna approve you, so that way you're like whitelisted on my channel.
It's kind of weird how YouTube works with that, because sometimes, not all the time. I mean, it might if he's whitelisted, it might go through, but YouTube auto mods for you, and sometimes like you won't even see like a notification or a hint that a comment has ever existed because it just caught it in its own spam filter.
Yeah, and then sometimes when you go over to help for review, it won't even show up there until you click show more. Like, it hides it from you under a hidden tab as well.
Wow. I'm going to try that, because I had a problem with a comment contest where it was just deleting people's comments for their entries because it said, oh, this is a paragraph. Must be spam. So I was like, dang. Like, that's why I stopped doing those that much. I'm like, this was a disaster. I need to find another way because this is backfired. YouTube's it does it on streams too. YouTube streams, it's super annoying. I love it. I guess it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because the old issue of like hate raids, that just can't work on YouTube. Like, people can try it, but they have to go like way out of their way to say anything truly bad to the streamer. And at that point, whatever they writ is so unrecognizable that it's like, ha, you're really...
Yeah, it's almost comical.
Yeah. But on the flip side, it uses some weird system where it ranks how often you say a certain thing and then decides for itself whether or not it's going to show up to the streamer. Like, it doesn't put it in top chat or live chat. It just strikes it from the record. So, like, for example, I subscribed, because people say that a lot. That is a phrase that is commonly picked up as spam. So, like, if you're streaming and someone's like, I like your videos, I subscribe, if that's in the sentence, there's a good chance it won't show up.
Yeah, that's gnarly. I didn't know that was a thing.
Super weird. No one talks about it. And there's a couple other ones too, where it just decides for itself. Yeah, no, we're not showing that one. For a while, the clown emoji was banned on YouTube.
I believe it. Imagine getting like 50 people just coming in and spamming you with clown emotes.
Yeah. It's funny because the victim of that was YouTube themselves. So their system just, it probably still, it registers it as nothing but spam. So if you post a clown emoji, no context, it might not show up at all. Comment or stream. Fun fact.
The algorithm. The all-powerful algorithm.
The all-powerful algo. I could talk for hours about what, like, it's just, I guess maybe not, because it's just talk about Mabinogi. Just talk about Mabinogi. You'll be good.
Well, you know, the podcast is about Mabinogi and related things, so I feel like it would fall under the umbrella.
It does. So you're gonna get a lot of views coming in.
So
basically,
oh, sorry.
What I'm hearing is I need to post the link and then follow that with I subscribed and nothing else.
3 clown emojis.
Maybe a clown emoji. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Looking forward to it. So
yeah, test this theory out.
So I don't know if you guys are Final Fantasy fans by any chance. They're coming out with Final Fantasy VII on the phone. That's gonna let you play through the story of like all the Final Fantasy VII games, right? Like, kind of remade. So with that, it got me thinking: are you guys excited for Mabinogi Mobile?
I have mixed feelings. So, my mixed feelings are, they've tried the mobile game before, and every time they've attempted it, it's failed. Like, not that the game itself has failed. There was always a lot of hype behind the game, but they just failed to succeed in developing it to completion. So it's kind of like, it's been in the works for years now. They've been hunting developers for it. I'm unsure if it's ever going to actually release, and if it does release, if it's ever going to release in our region. because it could be one of the games that's Korea only, which would be fine. But the thing that I see it struggling with is taking like a flagship IP like Mabinogi, which is much more popular in other regions, and then converting it into mobile. What do you lose? Because the crowd that's going to initially try it is going to be Mabinogi players, right, from Korea, and you're going to get a good amount of audience that are just going to try the game because it's a new mobile game. But I don't know if that group of people will stick around, because it seems like they're trying to push for the nostalgia of the game, just based on some of the teasers and trailers that they've put out, where like they're pushing stuff like the campfire interactions and having all the different classes and skills and stuff that you can use. I just don't know if it'll be similar enough to engage the Mabinogi fan base, or popular enough otherwise without the nostalgia and all that for a wider audience. So I'm hesitant about a mobile version.
Yeah, chatting would be hard because it would be in like the widescreen mode, right? So whenever you go to chat, it would pull up like the wide keyboard, and that would be so annoying. Trying to type that way.
My stance is, if it's anything like Genshin Impact, I'm never gonna touch it. Anyways, if it came out of America, I'm never gonna touch it. I just don't like, and this is full bias here, full bias. I don't like gacha games. And I know as a Mabinogi player to say I don't like gacha games, I should get struck by lightning, but it's a little bit different. I feel like games like that are just so obviously predatory that it just strikes a chord with me that I don't like. And there's more of a bias because they're built off like FOMO, you know? So I gotta see like more about how Mabinogi Mobile really plays to have a real strong opinion on it. But if it's like character driven, where you're like pulling characters, like I'm a big, like y'all know me, I love Nier. I'm the biggest Nier fan. Would not touch the mobile game because it's pulling characters and hiding lore behind some of it. It's like I don't care about it anymore for that.
In the versions that I've seen, there's no gacha like that.
If it's not a gacha game, then I think it's harmless. And I really pretty much mostly agree with your comments on it. But if it came stateside and it's a gacha game, I would be the one solo streamer to not touch it. Like, nope, not doing that. I have not played Genshin anymore. I haven't touched Star Rail. Because I don't know. I just don't like that model. Like even the ones before that, like Honkai Impact and stuff. Like I just won't touch those games. What is another one? With the guns, the girls.
I kind of see that. I understand that, because it's not even like pay to play. It's pay for a chance to play, almost. Yeah. You can get by with the base characters that they give you and like the limited number of roles they give you for free, but to get the character that is desirable, like the game piece that you want to play with, is RNG or chance. There's no guarantee you can get it unless you spend a certain amount to get the pity. So it's like
that card. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like, if they just put a price on this character, it would be, because fighting games do that, right? Yeah. Where there's like a DLC with certain characters that you can unlock. Like there's a set price. Like, all right, this is how much you need to spend. It's not like a, you know what I mean? Yeah, I understand that.
Here and I had to roll the dice to get, I don't know, May. Or biking. I bet it's gonna be biking. There's a chance I get biking, or I just keep getting Faust. I don't know. I'd be pretty peeved after a while. And then on top of that, there's a time limit. Having energy.
Oh, that's right. They have they rotate through packs with different characters, so you might miss a character.
Once a week, I think.
Yeah. Oof. And then having it gives me Candy Crush vibes. Like they essentially looked at what Candy Crush was doing and said, "What if we did that, but with anime characters?"
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the inverse.
And
I don't know. Don't like it.
Unlike Mabinogi, where like you can sell the clothes from Gacha on the auction house or buy from other people or trade it, you can't trade these characters either. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
either you spend the money or you're shit out of luck.
Oh, do I have a story for you in that regard of trading characters? So you would think that your characters in Genshin Impact are safe from being stolen from malicious people, but one of the other reasons why I just did not touch Genshin is because I had my account. Because I admit I haven't touched the game in a little bit, and I guess they had a breach where a lot of accounts got compromised.
Wait. When was this breach? Was it like a few months ago?
It was it was a few years ago,
Oh, no.
but it could have happened again because they were really good at letting that happen. That happens, and they don't talk about it until someone else says, "By the way, this happened. Change your passwords." Because I lost my characters. Like when I log into the game, it treats it as though I made a new account, and that's a sign that you've been jacked, you've been swindled. They took your account and did some weird exploit where they changed the name, so it's like the mobile, because it treats the mobile version and the PC version and console version is different.
Like they unlinked it all.
Yup, they unlinked it and it's associated with someone else's information. So if you try to prove it's yours, it won't go through. They'll be like, we can't prove it's your account, so you're out of luck.
I actually
So all my characters are gone.
I actually had a charge like 2 months ago from Genshin Impact. Like, I haven't played it for years. Like, I played it when it first came out for a little bit. Then I was like, not really messing with it. And then maybe 2 months ago, I had a charge on PayPal for like a couple thousand yen. And I was like, what is this from? And like,
Yeah.
I Googled it and it was from the company that like ran Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. And I was like, no, not happening.
They got exploited again. They keep getting their data breached on the regular. That's the one thing. Like, this is me ruining any chance to ever be sponsored by MiHoYo, but I don't want to be because they don't secure they don't have any online security. They don't protect their players.
Yeah, it was for 12,000 for 12,000 yen on June 20th.
Thank goodness that's less than it sounds like it is.
Yeah. I think it's like a few hundred Canadian.
That's still like, it shouldn't happen at all. There's nothing worse than waking up to a large sum of money, or any sum of money that you didn't charge to your account. That's
Yeah, I was like, come on.
To go off topic here, I had my internet provider do that to me over a technician fee. And I'm like, what tech? Did someone just break into my apartment one night and just like install another internet line and I didn't know it? Why are you charging me $190, bro? What is this?
Did they end up waiving it for you?
They tried to give it back to me in credit. They're like, we charge the credit to your account, and if you look at it this way, that means that your bill will be covered for the next few months. I'm like, yeah, it'll be covered because I paid for it. Give me my money back. Like, I felt bad. I'm like, I know this isn't your fault that somebody at Comcast thought it was a good idea to charge me for a ghost technician fee, but at the same time, no, I'm not paying that. I'm juggling like a bunch of stuff, and I have like everything set to a T, and that one thing threw everything into oblivion. So I was like freaking out. I was like, no. Not like this.
So did they end up giving you your money back or just credit?
That is to be decided. They said that it will take a few business days and it should go through. But if I don't get it in 3 days to call back, which whenever someone says it to me, that just tells me the technicians or the person on the phone didn't want to deal with it, and they said to use it, call somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, typically it does take 5 to 7 business days. But it's usually a lot sooner. So yeah, either they decide to not deal with it or they're not confident in their skills on how to do it.
Definitely. I hope it comes back through. That was just like, the person was almost half laughing because of my whole rage about like this. I wasn't like yelling at them. Let me just make that clear. I wasn't yelling about it. I was just thoroughly confused. I'm like, how do you charge somebody a technician fee when there was no technician? I was the technician. I installed it.
The self-install? Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
listen, you should be paying me.
Yeah.
Look, I did this myself.
I
didn't know
want my
you're
money
charging
back
us the
and a
technician
credit.
if you're the technician. Like, it says here that
Bro,
someone came to your apartment and this date here. It's like, I didn't see it.
it's like,
Are you
yo,
sure?
if you're
My
if you're
neighbor?
charging that much, I'll go to the neighbor's house and I'll set up theirs too.
I'll do it. Dude. Give me the money. I just thought it was so funny
Mhm.
they tried to play it like, well, your bill is gonna be covered for the next few months. Like, yeah, it will be. The money that you took from me. You just forced me to pay my bill in advance. Is what you did. You just forced me to pay in advance. It's so fun.
That just don't feel right. Mm-hmm.
Adulting
robbery.
sucks.
So
the
how do you
bandits.
guys how do you guys feel about the Unreal update that's coming?
I'm so ready for Project Eternity, but at the same time, as I've had more time to think about it, there are a couple of things that I'm just slightly concerned about.
Okay.
I want to see another trailer before they launch it. I want them to show like more progress. I've been getting ever since the hype. I've been getting YouTube recommendations from somebody who's been just probably riding the hype of it themselves because I don't think they're like officially affiliated with Nexon in any way. They've been recreating all the iconic locations in Mabinogi in the Unreal Engine.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing it that way without any of like the stylization, while it looked nice and all the comments like this looks amazing, it also looked soulless.
I think I know who you're talking
I
about.
yeah, I don't think it will look much like that.
See, my issue is like those videos. They're not making the assets by hand. They're probably just pulling like the ultra scan. So like they're made to look super realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what's throwing the vibe off of like all the environments recreated in Unreal. I feel like the Nexon team will probably like make it more stylized, more personalized in terms of like
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mabinogi style.
That's what I'm hoping for, because it just gave me flashbacks to here the worst example, the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas remaster. That was so ugly. It's like, why? Who thought this was good? Like, I
Mhm.
don't want. And the thing is, like, people are cheering it on. Not the San Andreas thing with the Mabinogi stuff in those video clips. I'm like, this isn't look like Mabinogi anymore. Like, it's still like, yeah, that's Dumbarton and that's cool and all, but at the same time, it looks like Dumbarton in like Skyrim or something. Like you said, it's like all the ultra realistic scans. I want something more stylized.
Some
like-
some of those maps are made with just assets that are available and like for everybody to use. So they're
Mhm.
not necessarily like made for that specific thing. Which I know they'll be working specifically to not do that
That's
for
good.
Mabby. So that's not. I don't think that's a concern. I think so. Some of my concerns, right? Because they did mention that some content might be missing when the Unreal update goes live, so that they can get it out sooner. Because it's already going to be a couple years before that even takes place, right? They've got to spend a lot of effort to get everything switched over. That could mean certain outfits don't have a new model at the time of the release, where like most outfits might, but some of them will have to wait for a later update to get switched over. It could mean that certain content, like some examples I saw where like Magmel might be cut for some time and then reworked and re-added after the fact. Something like housing channels might just be gone permanently.
Oh yeah.
They could cut like Avon and theater missions might be cut, just because like certain like if you don't need to make the area or the quest for it, that'll save you a lot of time, and you could release it later on as kind of like an expansion onto the game again, basically. And some of those things could use reworks anyway, so I'm not even opposed to that. But what I'm concerned about, and this is like, you can call me silly for this, I'm concerned that my warp imps that are outside of the boundaries of the map aren't going to work after the Unreal update.
Oh,
That is a legitimate concern of mine. I want to be able to go outside of the map. And if they get rid of that, it's going to take a little bit of my enjoyment out of the game, you know?
you know, there's a good chance that that's actually what's gonna happen. But because I can't imagine it's the only way I think that would not happen is if they are still using like the same map, sort of. But if it's a whole engine shift, yeah,
Yeah, it's not going to be the same. The other thing is, what if they just let us climb mountains and structures and just explore the whole open world? What if there's just no limit?
That would be
And
nice.
so outside of the map doesn't exist, and you could just keep going through the woods or
Like
whatever.
no more load screens, like everything's just kind of connected.
Well, I wouldn't say no more load screens. I think you'd like reach a point where you go to the load screen, right? Because realistically, that's just kind of what we're used to. And I think they'd keep the similar feel. So it might be something where there's a load screen like wall that you would cross through, but otherwise, like you could just go to like the corner of tier in the middle of the forest, and there's just like nothing out there but squirrels. There's no reason for you to go out there. There's no NPCs. There's no quests. There's no like anything. It's just forest. I think that would be cool. I'd like to see that, but I'm a little bit worried that they get better at making map boundaries, and I'm not going to be able to go outside the map anymore.
I wonder how many problems that warp imp is gonna cause them. Because if they do plan on carrying it over, they're gonna look at the code and the location of the warp, and they're gonna be like, "Where the hell is this? And why is the code breaking?"
What if they don't touch it at all and just port it in as a pet? You use the warp and you end up in some like just bugged out abyss.
That would be cool.
I'd be okay with that outcome. That outcome's okay with me. But the thing that's not okay is if they just get rid of our ability to transcend the map entirely. I've worked to collect quite a few of these locations, and I'd like to keep them.
Like rafting and everything, just to
Yeah.
sort of shift topics a little bit, but still like in the realm of like Unreal Mabinogi. I want to see more than one raft being able to go down the river at once. Like rather than be one at a time, like you have like convoys of players rafting and fighting hobgoblins, hopping on each other's rafts.
I just want to be able to use WASD on the raft.
Agreed.
That also true. Also fair.
I think rafting's gonna be cut, honestly.
You think it's gonna?
Yeah. I also suspect rafting and hot air ballooning are going to be cut initially. They might be added on later as expansions where they might improve the systems and then add them back in as new content, which would be good. But I really suspect that and housing channels are some of the first to go.
They just need to.
Think anyone will even know housing channel disappeared if they just took it and didn't say anything.
I didn't know we still had it until the other day.
Yeah.
I thought that was gone.
Yeah, it's still there. I stand by. It would be like a joke series where we're all just neighbors.
Yeah, that would be fun. Almost make it like a sitcom show, like Seinfeld type beat, you know?
Yeah. Let's wake up. Good morning, neighbor. Get off my lawn. Someone watering their grass.
I'm actually really looking forward to swimming in underwater exploration.
That's gonna be that's something I did not expect them to announce. Like I didn't know anyone wanted that.
Dude, I wanted that for so long. That goes right along with my I want to go beyond the edges of the map thing. Like I just want to walk on the water. I just want to go out to sea. And if they're gonna let me do that, like that is exactly what how cool would it be if while commercing you could have your own boat and just go across to Iria?
That would be nice. That would be.
They don't have to use the fake the cutscene between areas anymore. You can just go
where the boat's not actually moving and the water just animated.
Just the animated water, yeah. I felt so cheated when I like looked out and noticed that it was just fake. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's just essentially a loop of water.
So convincing.
I hope they rework the
Yeah.
homestead, honestly, so like you can actually like build a house.
I'm okay with the way homesteads are, except I'd like to be able to actually have neighbors for the homestead. I think you could replace the housing system if like you had in each corner, like off to the left side of your homestead, you could have a neighbor. Off to the right side, you could have a neighbor, and you like get to pick. So it just like creates like kind of a like a doorway from one homestead to another. So if you have a homestead and you're like, all right, these are the people that I visit often, I could have like them all like off to the side, and it just kind of renders like a like an image of what their homestead looks like just in that direction.
Kind of like an instance.
So yeah, so like you'd have to like go through like a loading screen to actually go onto the homestead, but like you could have a neighbor like and set up like a neighborhood of sorts. It would kind of add some creative elements as well, because now you could have like a multi-homestead sort of I don't know if you've seen like the Hyrule Castle one, but like being able to set up over multiple characters a like basically a homestead network that would be the entirety of like a game's area like recreated.
That would be cool.
Instead of having to put it all in one. Stuff like that.
That would
be
cool if they work it in like kind of like a guild system, right? But like you can invite your friends and like create a neighborhood, right? So that way it's a little bit more manageable in my head, I guess. So like you can
I was thinking you could make it individual to the homestead, so like I could choose to have this person to my left and somebody else could choose to have them to your left and somebody else could choose to have them on their left, you know, but like it doesn't actually impact where like an actual map. It's just you know, it's just kind of like a warp portal to that person's homestead and then just shows like what that area looks like next to yours.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
I just want more it just sounds super weird. Non-combat stuff, like just stuff that you can do as casual with friends, the goofy stuff. I want more stuff like that. More downtime things.
I agree. Like for the game being dubbed a fantasy life, all the fantasy life stuff leads you into combat at some point. It forces you to, you know? Like I feel like if there was like
there is some element of you can level up using the most random stuff. Like you can level up doing just cooking, just like freestyle jams, just part-time jobs. You can get to higher levels just doing that, but it takes much more effort. I think something that kind of balances that so that it rewards non-combat a little bit more would be nice. Maybe even, I don't know. I was gonna say like some sort of non-combat dungeon, but that's kind of, I don't know how you would pull that off.
Yeah, I think if there was like an alternative to getting like dungeon drops from mobs, like I know some cooking ingredients you can only get from mobs. Like if there was an alternative to getting them, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be nice. That way you could have like a whole economy of people like never actually doing combat, right? Like there's some people that lean towards that now, but ultimately they're always pushed to jump into a dungeon at some point.
Oh yeah. Very, very true. Very true.
But that is something that people enjoy. I don't know if you caught the stream with Bao recently. I think it went pretty well. But something that she enjoyed was the freestyle jam.
Oh yeah.
She got to experience that. That was fun.
Yeah, I was hopping in with calling you Ritz God, hoping she'd read it, but she didn't.
I was just cracking up laughing when you showed up cosplaying as the other VTuber, and I don't know if you immediately realized that was still you.
Oh, she knew. We discussed it beforehand. Like I sent her a screenshot of it beforehand. So, part of that was staged, but not entirely. She didn't know I was doing it then.
Wow, that breaks my heart. I thought that was all organic, non-stage prank content.
Yeah.
Start calling you Fuji too.
You say Fousey
Yeah.
pulling a Fousey on us. A regular
Uh,
prankster.
we'll put it this way: she knew I had the cosplay on deck. She didn't know I was gonna walk up like that.
Question: did you get to keep the cosplay?
The Numi one, I set that up myself. Val's character is actually using a dress that was from my account, that I traded over to her beforehand.
Ah.
They better compensate you for that.
You know,
But
there was one.
they did give like a bunch of the dyes. They gave the beauty coupons for like the hair and the eyes and stuff like that, and like they set all that up. But I was torn between like 2 or 3 dresses, and I wanted to see how each one looked when it was actually dyed the colors on the character, and just that one looked better than the one that I told them to send over. So they did give a dress for that. It just wasn't the one I ended up landing on.
This is you don't have to answer this because this is like debated question territory. This is a loaded question.
Okay.
Do you know if they secured Bao's name?
I don't know.
They probably did 100%.
The
Right.
because I created the character. I don't know if they secured the name beforehand, but I know they checked if it was available because they told me what the name should be.
Next sponsorship nerd, if we get wind of it, you should make a character and steal the name and ask them for your name in return.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to see who the next
Wow.
one is. I'm holding this name hostage until you give me. There is a GM. There's a GM who probably hates me because they keep getting my ticket where I'm like enough time. Because someone told me, I guess it was a lie. Someone told me if enough time has passed and a character hasn't used the account in X amount of years, you can take the name.
I know
That is true.
your like data on like games and servers and stuff. I know most places legally it can be deleted after 2 years.
It's been more than 2 years.
What if they're
Did
logging
you
in?
did you
Like,
own the other like character by that name?
So that's the funny story. For the longest time, I thought it was Snipe, but I was thinking about different servers. But since all the servers are merged, because on one server, somebody else did steal my name. Somebody else was that, and they did it as a joke, and it made me mad, but somebody did steal my name.
were they a bad
But
apple?
on the actual like merge, I do have a character that's old enough that's named Mobby Nerd, where Mobby is caps and Nerd isn't. I remembered because I was looking back at old videos and I saw the name. I was like, oh yeah, I have the account. But that was back when I used different emails and different things to create characters for different sketches. And the character that would eventually become my main was, brace yourself to cringe, APH Japan, because at the time I was on some Axis Hitalia nonsense spin-off series in Mabinogi, and I had friends that were all going to be different characters. That fell apart, so it was just me doing it, which was awkward. But because no one else did it, I was still stuck with that character, and I made the series anyways. But that character was like the one I played as the most because that was my first time doing like an ongoing, like really thought out, sort of edited, scripted thing. So I had some progress as that character to the point that it surpassed the account that would have been my channel main, my mascot character, Mobby Nerd. If that makes sense. And so I don't have it anymore.
You should, if you have access to that, the one that's like capitalized Mobby and then lowercase Nerd, right? If you have access to that account and that character, you could have it deleted and then just like rename the character because it opens the name.
Well, I don't know what email I use for it. This is back when I had I made like the Dumb Sucker Army and then gave out a bunch of those emails, but then used a couple of them for alt characters. It's
that's like me and Gaia online. Oh man.
You know what I mean? You know you get the burner emails. that you used, and that account was almost certainly made with a burner email. So I'd have to really like do some. I tried. There were some nights where I'd done digging and I found other alt characters that I forgot existed. Like, for example, you guys both played Xbox a lot. You familiar with Major Nelson from Xbox Live? Right, Larry?
Don't know.
No.
No.
Well, I recreated him in
FMS.
Mabinogi for some dumb reason. I have the name Major Nelson in Mabinogi. And I don't know what possessed me to. I didn't do anything with it. He's just there. He's a new character, not touched, has nothing but the name Major Nelson. It's like, why did I do that? Where was I going
That's a
with
very
that?
good question. We may
Why
never
did
know.
I made it look like him. Like I tried to recreate him in Xbox Live. It's funny. Okay, guys, Major Nelson here. Larry Herbert, Xbox Live. We're gonna talk about a new game.
Yeah, I was a PS3 kid.
Oh, so you're not familiar with Larry from Xbox? Well, his face was everywhere. Think of him like the community manager of Xbox Live. Any promotion, anything, he made himself a character. He's the guy from the meme. You already know what the bottom of a what is it, the avatar's foot looks like? Now you know. You're like, look, that's him.
Okay, but yeah, I think I recall that.
It's just it's one of those cases with the name where I kind of wonder if it could be two things. It could be that I am stealing my own name, or it could be that after the servers got merged, the other person who stole Mobby Nerd is still playing the game, and their Mobby Nerd plus whatever.
Have you tried adding
In this
him?
case, it'd be plus Mari. Is why I can't get the name.
Try adding them. Hit them up.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do Mobby Nerd plus Mari. I'm pretty sure it was a Mari server that they did it on. It's either Mari.
Well,
or
if they did it in Mari, it would have been merged into now, and then they would have gotten just Mobby Nerd, and then when the server merge happened with Alexina, they wouldn't have gotten a plus now tag. They would have just had the name Mobby Nerd.
So then, effectively, whoever trolled me could still be stealing my name. So I should just add Mobby Nerd.
Yes.
You know what?
I'm
You
gonna-
could make a good case the next time they reach out to this person, because it could also be damaging to their brand to have somebody with your name running around.
That's true.
What if this
We
guy's a
tried.
bad
There
actor?
was a big argument made for me. It is nothing. There's nothing. Nothing short of unless I don't know. I don't know what I could possibly do to get the name back. But I don't want to make this up like boohoo. I can't have my name be Mobby Nerd and Mabinogi thing. I just think it's funny. I was just gonna say, like, if they secured that, if someone else had Bow the Whale as a name and they took it from them, I'm gonna go. I'm be like, hey, now wait a minute.
I mean, to be fair,
To be fair, I get it.
Sayu got his name, so I don't know how that one happened, but the fact that Sayu got Sayu it's a 4-character name.
No way.
Very popular streamer.
No way. No way.
You know that one like had to be.
And the fact that this guy's probably never going to touch the game again, and somebody get their name
RC, if
ripped
you're
away.
watching this, help me. Help me.
Send screenshots of the conversation to
We should start a change.org
support.
petition to get your name back.
Just do it in the arms of an angel, like those sad pet commercial things. He still doesn't have his name, but Sayu.
post memes on the Reddit day 1.
I'm trying to get Mabby Nerd's name
Day
back.
2, day 3. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you guys think about that guy? I don't mean to stray too far from the topics, but
Well, I recommended that.
really?
Yeah, I was like, listen, if you want them to change something, like your best bet is just keep talking about it. Like just creative posts, whatever, just engage with the community and keep talking about it until they can't ignore it.
Well, I know some of the team does browse the Reddit, and the fact that they haven't commented on any of this is a little concerning. Because I
Wait,
think
I'm out of the loop. What are we talking about? Never mind. Wait.
You can explain it, Rixie.
There's a guy that's I think it's recently past day 100. Is that correct, or is that
I think
not
so.
correct
Like,
information?
Is it that posting memes every day until I get a D-Blade thing?
that would
Not
be me.
D-Blade. It's until either a bankroll
Your hero?
event, drop rate increase, or what was the other thing they mentioned?
Or pity system, maybe?
There's 3 things. Huh?
Maybe a pity system? He does mention 3 things. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't remember what the 3rd thing is.
Maybe. I think I have this bookmarked. I like checking in daily just to see what kind of shenanigans are going on. Do I ever partake in the conversation? No.
Me either. I no longer partake in the conversation.
I'm posting Mabby memes / content until bankroll event / item drop update day 107.
Yeah, okay. I've been getting notifications about that.
Here, I can post the most recent one. Sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're really bad. I'll post the most recent one in the chat here.
When your parents see Nail for the first time. Oh.
So
You know, this gives me the same energy as the Let Elves Have Black Hair movement way back in the day.
I don't recall that. Could they not have black hair before?
They couldn't. You couldn't have black hair as an elf.
True.
Well,
And it was
kinda
like
solved that
somebody on
problem.
every Facebook post, they would post, let elves have black hair on every single social media post for months. And evidently it worked.
Historically, every time somebody's done this, it's at least worked.
It has.
It's like, because think like Merge Alexina worked.
Yeah, Merge Alexina, yeah.
It just takes some time. So like, we
Okay.
might get to like year 2.5 of these memes. I mean, to be fair, having the memes posted every day is good, just like on its own. That people are generating content for the game, gets more eyes on it. Gets, I support this, but also it's just historically it's worked. So
Well, the funny thing is, this guy's now the most
We do it
active
again.
person on the Reddit.
mhm.
Like, before there'd be like 3 or 4 days with no post. And now this guy's posting every day, so that's good, I guess.
I think that's not accurate. There were daily posts on the subreddit consistently, but they would mostly be like new players asking questions or people discussing. No, it's mostly like new players asking questions. I think is where the subreddit went most days. But that's kind of hidden. You wouldn't really know about that unless you checked the questions pinned post. Because like people were asking questions all the time.
Why am I here?
Are we talking about life or the podcast? Or...
On the Reddit.
Oh.
Why am I here? Dot.
Wait, is that a recent one? I want to see this.
Oh no! I was just joking.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought somebody was literally asking that on the Reddit. I was about to cackle.
That's one place I'm not.
You want to dive into that loaded statement?
That is a loaded statement. It's up to you if you want to share that story.
We can dive into it a little bit. We'll avoid specifics. So there was a recent thing that occurred where I posted a video on the purling pets. It got some negative comments, some comments that just kind of ignored the post entirely.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And so I deleted that post and reposted the video, right? But this time I changed the tag from discussion to fluff because I felt like that was more accurate and would avoid some of the comments that were distracting from the video. And then also included in the title, in brackets, info on purlings, so that people would understand that there was information in the video related to the topic, right? Because like when you looked at the initial thread, it was like somebody was like, "Oh, so they're like bone dragons," and somebody else said, "We don't know that yet," when the video clearly shows that they're. You get where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
And I'd commented on some of those posts like, "Watch the video, we know," stuff like that, and my comments got super downvoted, which was strange to me. It comes off as rude, I suppose. So sorry about the wording. Maybe I didn't say it, like get across what I was trying to say, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. So I reposted the video. One of the mods on the subreddit said basically that I should avoid reposts, and then listed the link to the deleted post, and said, don't be the reason that we have to implement a rule on reposting. So I went to message the moderators and I said, I understand about the reposts, that I will avoid doing that in the future. I just didn't see a rule about it, so I thought it would be okay, but I'll, I understand. And just asked, and I asked them, I was like, can you remove the link to the deleted post? I just don't think it's like, I don't think we need that, right? Like, could you? Thanks, right? And then the mods replied to that, that, hold on.
He's bringing up the
this
receipts.
one in particular, I want to get this particular thing right. So let me just pull this up real quick. Okay. Sorry, it's just gonna take me a second to pull this up.
See, after vibing with you for a bit, the thing I realized about you is you're very factual and you just speak your mind. And sometimes I can understand how people might think it may come across the wrong way.
I can understand that it comes across as a little bit abrasive, which I don't intend. I don't ever intend at all.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people just overread it, honestly.
Oh, yeah. On the topic of the tags, too, like, I don't know why, but fluff just feels like it
never feels
kind of
right.
wrong for like.
Okay, so the Reddit subreddit moderator came back to me after I requested that the link be removed. They said, there's no rule on low effort content because the subreddit doesn't usually get those. Reposting the farm for karma and views is considered low effort and nobody wants to see it. Please do not be the reason why this rule will be added. And then they muted me for 28 days and then they permanently banned me from the subreddit.
That's so gnarly. Like in a bad way, sorry.
So, bless RC. She tried so hard to advocate on my behalf, but they then doubled down on their decision, and it's not getting repealed or anything of that nature. But there was a good discussion, and they've decided to uphold the permanent ban. So I am permanently banned from the subreddit.
I didn't know that happened. I'm so sorry. I mean, honestly, if anything, it's doing you a favor because, like, now you don't have to worry about all that petty drama.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm sitting at it right now. I'm like, I was kind of debating not going back to the subreddit. The last time they did this nonsense to me. Yeah, this has happened a few times now. The first time, it was like the first time I got like a day ban, because somebody came on to like a 2-month-old post and was harassing me. I was unkind to them, so I understand this ban was totally deserved. They banned me for a day, right? And that one, okay, we're okay with that one. The second time, they banned me for 14 days. I asked what post or message it was regarding, right? I was just confused. It hit me out of nowhere. And they muted me for 28 days.
Oh.
No response, just muted me for 28 days. So I couldn't reply to them. I couldn't like ask for like nothing, right? Because it says right on the suspension, like when it says you've been temporarily banned from the r/Mabinogi subreddit for 14 days, reply to this message to ask questions about the van or whatever to the mods. Like it says that directly in the thing. And so I was like, all right, so what post? I want to know like what this is for. So like, you know, I understand like, because I just didn't have any idea. Yeah. And then this was the third time. So I guess it's a 3 strikes policy or something.
Not gonna lie, they kind of did you dirty.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wrote a diss track. It's fun.
I can't wait for that.
Actually, really good.
Oh, you got to listen to
Yeah,
it already?
Nerds here heard it, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I was rocking that while I was putting up flyers for the show. I was like, oh, this is good. This is like I've been saying it for the longest time. Like Fierlyt could easily come onto the scene and just he's a good writer. He is a good writer. Like his lyrics, something else.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Like actually, like looking at the lyrics and breaking them down, I'm like, okay, nice.
He's got it. He's got it. Like, and the delivery this time around too is like really good. Not to say that in the past it hasn't been pretty good, but this is like a whole nother level, right? Like
You can tell it's fueled by passion and rage.
yeah, you can feel it. You can feel it. You know, I think you should post it. Personally,
I think you should too.
Yeah,
Even if it's just on Twitter.
I have a plan for posting it. So my idea was most of the people that come to my channel for the guide and tutorial content. And I don't want to distract from that for people that are just there for that. And I have come to the conclusion that I'll post the diss track, which is okay. But I'm gonna post it and then immediately after post some like guide content. So that it is not the first video that is recommended on like most of my content. So like when you go to a random video on my channel and you watch it to the end, the card that pops up that says watch this video next, it won't have the diss track because I want to respect the audience and make sure the content that they're there for is the content that's recommended for them most of the time.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I'm just waiting until I get like a decent guide video or something that I can post, so I can post both of them.
I can't wait for that.
Sequentially. Mm-hmm.
It's such a weird balancing act when it comes to. I'm not a big Reddit user per se. As a matter of fact, my name is typoed on Reddit. In fact, some people probably don't even know that I'm a soul streamer on there. They probably think I'm just some random dude
sharing Mabby Nerds videos.
I think my name's like one. Yeah. Because my name on there's just one mode toaster. Like I spelled mad wrong. I made the Reddit before. It was entered through a PSN account, actually. And what I've noticed, and it isn't just a Reddit thing. I feel like this is an isolated insert community for this thing in general. Like I get why there are rules about advertisement because you don't want it to be like everyone's advertising something, but it's gotten to a point where mods take it so seriously that it kind of consumes itself to a point where there's this weird culture around different groups where you can share something that someone created as long as it wasn't you. Like I don't know why. No, like this is something I feel we need to talk about more too because it's so weird to me that like you could share someone else's meme video, but if you made it and you shared it, then you've just broken a very vital and sacred rule, and now they're bringing the hammer down on you. But if it's someone else, it's okay. I don't understand like why that is the case, which ties into the one thing that I liked about the Mabinogi Reddit is that culture around it didn't seem to really fully exist, other than anything that it wasn't art. I felt like in terms of like video content, sort of got shafted. Like it isn't really heavily considered as their tags that reflect art, memes, discussions, questions, updates. But when it comes to videos, it has to go under fluff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
what I felt like, cause I wanted to get the information on the pairlings out, and I thought the best way to do that was the discussion tag, but I was wrong, and I just have to post it under fluff. It's like, which by the way, that post is still up there. Uh, they didn't delete the post because it didn't break any rules. It's just
Right.
still like none of my stuff was deleted by moderators, so I'm confused on that. Like nothing I said was bad enough to be removed, but they felt it required removing me.
It sounds
I'm
like they just
confused,
have it
Doesn't
in
but
for
make
you.
sense though. Like going by these rules, if you make a video, like let's say I made a video titled "Do you think Mabinogi is dying?" Which that's a big money topic. So I get like why
yeah,
somebody, maybe not a good example, but an example of tell me what you think about it. If the topic of the video that you created is in and of itself something that promotes a discussion, then it should be a discussion. But
Agreed.
according to the Reddit's rules, if you did that, they'd be like, no, that's got to be fluff. And I
yeah,
think
it
that's
feels
kind of
weird.
backwards. Like it doesn't make sense. Like if it is a discussion, if you're asking a
The
valid
other
question, like
the other thing that's weird to me is that the meta tag is for stuff that's meta to the subreddit and not stuff that's meta in the game. So you
well,
can't
that's
post
true.
a video about like latest tech in or like latest clear strategies or anything like that, or like equipment like best in slots and stuff like that, and post it under the meta tag, because the meta tag is for like posts on the subreddit about the subreddit.
That's doesn't.
That's
What
so dumb.
is a meta post on the subreddit? What even
Good
is?
question.
Talking,
But
posting
the
a
meta-
video talking about how you can't post videos on the Reddit. Would that be a meta?
That should be a meta.
Yeah, but like it's even sillier because the meta tag is in all caps, which implies that it's the acronym most effective tactic available, but it's not talking about the most effective tactic available. It's talking about meta, meaning like the lowercase, not the acronym meta.
Hold on. Let's just take it back a step here. Is that what meta means?
Yeah,
I'm in the
It was
same
an
most
boat.
effective
acronym?
tactic available. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'm in the same
Holy-
boat.
I just learned something today. All right, that's
Well,
all.
there is the word meta that means something else, right? Which means like the current, like ongoing, like or kind of like a onlooker's kind of perspective on a thing, on a topic.
This has blown my mind. This is like back when I
So when
heard somebody use girl as an acronym for
yeah, a guy in real life.
yeah. I was like, what? I've learned. I didn't know this. I never knew that. Most effective tactic available. That makes so much sense. Who was it that told me that oh, what was it? There was something that used with ship that was also an acronym. I think it was like a swear word. It's like, you know, that was actually just an acronym for the like a shipyard. I think Jade said this. I think Fading Jade told me this. It was either Fading Jade or it was Chloe. Somebody just dropped this random fact that a common swear word was actually just an acronym for sailors for something they stored on the ship, and I forgot what it was. It's gonna bother me now. But this is like this random knowledge out of nowhere, like things you wouldn't expect to be an acronym that are actually just acronyms. This is wild. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry.
No, I'm in the
Tangent
same
over.
boat. Like, I feel like the older I get, the less I think about like words and like acronyms and like what they can mean. Like meta, I didn't even think twice about it. What? Like, I was like, okay, it means something that everyone's doing. Cool, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, I didn't
Most
think like, hey, maybe each letter in the word can mean something.
I wonder if this is how some people feel when they hear about the word goat or goated.
Greatest of all time.
Yeah, probably.
That's so funny. Hey, that dude's a goat. No, he's
Oh,
not.
there's a sorry, this is off topic a little bit, but I saw a clip of who was it? Actress from Hunger Games.
Voice critical.
No, actress. Oh, Jennifer Lawrence was on a clip where she was in a movie with I think it was like Meryl Streep or something like that, and they were on set calling her the goat, and she thought that when they were calling her the goat, it was because she was old, not because
Oh no!
it was a compliment. There's a clip about that somewhere. You can find it. But yeah,
He's a goat.
one of
What
those
did you call
situations.
me?
Oh, she went along with it, not knowing.
Oh, it'd be funnier. Like they just got mad and just like threw hands. Like, oh, now I gotta fight you.
Yeah.
What did you say to me? I said you're the goat. What?
Yeah, it pops up on YouTube as soon as you type in goat. It was a ET Canada clip, I think, which was talking about it.
That's funny.
Nice.
There's a funny thing that happened at my rehearsal last night, but I don't know if it's it's a dumb joke, and I'll tell y'all after the podcast. People
Okay.
guessing.
All right, we'll keep it moving then.
Leave some suspense.
Thoughts on Gwen Burna?
Generally good, but I have some critiques. Generally good.
All right. Wait. Before you jump into it, I just want to run this by before you start talking. I did a run the other day, right? And somebody told me to skip killing the deer at the start because it skips the mechanic. Is this true?
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody didn't watch my tutorial.
No, I like just going in and wham bam and things. It's half the fun
typical elemental knight.
Okay, anyways, sorry, continue. You can go on about your critiques.
So I have some mixed feelings on them disabling Flameburst hit stun and Deathmark pull on the mobs. Which is why that's not the meta, by the way. Like they straight out disabled those effects on enemies. I do like adding the new mechanics of piercing resistance, and giving the mobs piercing. I think both of those changes are a positive direction, because the piercing resistance means that if your weapon has piercing, it kind of ignores that piercing, and it oddly balances out how some of the talents work. So now Ninja is, to a degree, more effective in Glen than it is in Chrom, because in Chrom, you just use piercing weapons. But in Glen, now the piercing weapons, if they have a low level of piercing, are just as effective as the dual guns and ninja skills. So it kind of balances those a little bit. The trouble is that Elemental Knight is absolutely busted. So there's no reason to use the ninja and the dual guns when you could just use EK. And Mage is already also at the top tier. So those are just the Arcana seem to be the big thing in Glen, which I don't mind. I think the Arcana being the big thing is good too. It just kind of overshadows the other change that balances stuff that wasn't balanced before. I like the Blizzard mechanic, but I wish it was more punishing, because it's the major way that you're interacting with the other side of the dungeon, which is kind of the whole gimmick. So if you're not really interested in interacting with the person on the other side, for normal runs at least, on hard mode it's absolutely necessary that you do this, but I wish it was a little bit more punishing on normal. Like it actually took some health away or something, and it wasn't just the shared health pool that gets depleted. I like the brazier mechanics, but I don't like the firewood and ember thing. That's a little bit. I don't know. It feels a little bit strange to have to stand next to the campfire for a certain amount of time, but it's just you that has to do it. Feels a little bit strange. Um, I think overall it's okay. The boss fight's fantastic. I like how the boss fight goes. I like that it's different on each side. I like that there's some randomness to it where you don't know where the deer is going to appear for the portal between day and night. So you have to be prepared on both sides to handle that. Um, I think the mechanics of the boss fight are fantastic. The hard mode boss mechanics I haven't looked at in detail, but I imagine it's much the same. A lot of people that have cleared it felt satisfied when they cleared it, like they accomplished something, which is how you want to feel when you finish endgame content. So overall, like probably like B plus because I like Flame Burst and they nerfed it.
Yeah, honestly, with the brazier thing, it's weird because like maybe if there was like some benefit. My biggest issue with this dungeon is like you can ignore most of the mobs that are spawning, right?
hmm
I feel like if there was some benefit, like maybe when the brazier spawned, if you cleared the room then, they wouldn't keep spawning until that phase was done. I don't know. I just feel like the
Okay,
additional
I could
mobs
see
are
that.
just
That
kinda...
that would make it a little bit more pleasant to do that mechanic. Yeah,
Yeah, I just feel like
I don't
there's
want to
something
make it
missing.
easy, but
What about you, Mabiner? What's your thoughts? Are you looking forward to running it? Are you scared?
Never again. Listen, I've got beef with one particular enemy that appeared in the run that we did. That stupid
I throw a
onesie
snowball
wearing
at you.
Yeti.
Yeah, when the
I
Yeti does
want to throw.
3
If I
steamrolls in a
see
row.
someone dressed as a Yeti in a onesie, it's hands on sight. It's on site. That was the worst. So I do think once I'm up to speed to be able to run it, I do think it could be fun. But one thing that's like peak anxiety for me is any like mechanic or dungeon or thing. It could be anything, not even like outside of the game. Anything where my performance affects someone else's performance makes me not have that much fun. So if I die too much and it ruins the run for everybody else, that makes me
I
not.
can see
I'd be
that.
less inclined to want to do it personally. I don't think it's a bad mechanic. I think it's a fun mechanic. It's just not for me. I don't think because I would be like, sorry guys, and they'd be like, Mobby nerd, you didn't step on top. I just I don't know.
And here
But
I am asking for
I've
that.
only done Glen Burnham technically twice. Dude, twice. So I have to do it more to really have a stronger opinion. But in terms of like it being new content to the game, I think that it's cool that it's like some technical stuff. Like it'd be neat to see more missions maybe that don't have as high as a skill cap required to do them, but have interesting mechanics like that just to challenge people.
Oh, I've been saying that for a minute now. Basically all the old dungeons, like the Ulat dungeons, Sire, Albi, Rundle, like all these dungeons, the boss doesn't feel like a boss. It feels like another mob in a dungeon that you just shoot right past. I
Yup.
think adding like a mechanic, not even like a good one, like something you could ignore, right? It would be fine. But like if the spider and Albi had webs that slowed you,
Yeah.
that just like are all over the place, or like if you got it down to like 50% HP, it jumps up on the ceiling, and then you have like a phase where like ranged attacks still work, but the melee people have to wait until it comes back down.
Yeah.
And have like some like spider webs throughout the room that kind of interact with you and it like something like that, or like the golem changes the terrain every time it uses its like stomp attack, so like it'll leave like a crater where people can't walk anymore, or something like little tiny things like that make the bosses feel more like bosses, that they're not just the regular mob, like they actually impact things and do things that are out of the normal. I think they need to add stuff like that.
Yeah, I
Oh,
agree.
definitely.
I find
know,
I find
oh, go
Final
on.
Fantasy 14 nailed that, where like even standard dungeons, the bosses feel like bosses, you know? Like just a
Yeah.
little bit more HP, simple mechanic where it's like there's one where like there's like 4 water vents on the ground, and if you don't deactivate them, more mobs pop out of them, and like just little things like that.
Little things. You know, it seems like there was an effort to do that in some shadow missions, but then it just sort of stopped. You know, like which one was it where is it a shadow mission? Where Dullahan, if he whispers to you, he's gonna target you for a one hitter quitter move? Or that like that axe that gets
There's a way around that. So the axe does exactly your HP plus 1, so it will always put you into deadly. But it does your current HP plus 1. So if you have your HP intentionally lowered, so if you have like 50% of your HP and then you turn on Mana Shield, it will deal 50% of your HP plus 1 damage to your mana.
Oh.
So you could tank multiple hits. And if the lower your HP, the more hits your Mana Shield can take.
But imagine if they like buffed that mechanic so it's like, I don't know, just like do more stuff like that. Do like Shadowcast City was always my favorite shadow mission because I thought I had the funniest mechanic of you're fighting a bunch of
Fighting
you.
yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
Your teammates can hit you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just do more goofy stuff like that. That's all I'm saying. Like I'm with you. Like adding different mechanics, even if they're dumb, just makes it more fun for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Maybe make what if there's like a shadow mission where one person ends up becoming a mob, like it's like almost like an imposter situation where like one of you is secretly a shadow wizard or something dumb like that, and it transforms. It's like becomes an RP mission for them, but for you, your team, you're running through. I don't know, just dumb stuff. Maybe that's a stupid idea, but I think it'd be kind of funny.
I think it'd be like a fun like random mini game to have in the game where like one team's playing as like random mobs and then the other person's playing, like the other team's playing as like, honestly just replace the shadow mission, fill you in as like mobs.
Yeah.
I've been pushing for a minute for custom dungeons where like one person acts as the dungeon master and then like sets up the dungeon for the rest of the party, and the party has to go through like sort of a like an RP system, like the is it Lorraine's Nightmare? Is that the one I'm thinking of, where you have to purchase the skills after each wave?
Yep.
Yeah, something like that. But like the dungeon is controlled by one player, and then you have to go and like level up your skills and stuff by completing the tasks they give you. I don't think it's that far outside of the capabilities of the engine to just do that, because we already have like dungeon generation, we already have the nightmare system.
I think it'd be
lets
so
you
possible
like purchase the skills.
in Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
Just like, even if it's like kind of in the format of like Fortnite, like the Fortnite Unreal Engine, like it just gives you all the assets in the game and lets you build a map, right? I think it'd be cool if they did something like that, a dungeon, like in a dungeon, but like kind of. Have you guys ever played Little Big Planet?
Oh yeah.
Something like that, you know?
That would work really well. It would.
It'd be a cool way to have like user generated content, and then like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's if we're not gonna have a PvP scene, right? If it's not gonna become an esport, which we all know, Mabi's not gonna be an esport. But if that's not the way that you go, then you have to go the route of Minecraft, of Skyrim, of all these things where it's user generated content that continues to push the game. And there's not very much way for that to happen in an MMO, except for like these sort of things. So I think this is a situation where Mabi's uniquely situated, where we already have the stuff in place that would let you accomplish it, and it's just a matter of combining them together and putting it together and giving it to the players to create their own dungeons and such with the stuff you already put in. Like, we don't even need like custom mobs or anything like that.
No, it'd just be cool to like change like maybe like the damage modifiers on some mods, like HP.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying you don't even need to do that. You could just straight up hand us these rabbits, and just we'll throw 40 of them in a room with a player and be like, good luck, you have flame burst.
Oh my god.
It'd be a fun way to test to see who's like the strongest on the server, like almost
right?
like a little
just like
speed
challenge maps or something like that. Yeah. I think Mabi's uniquely situated to accomplish something like that very well.
Yeah, I think so too, honestly. It'd honestly be pretty easy. They would just need to make it like an interface for it and then just kind of like a menu, like loading system instance type beat.
Mm-hmm. Because you can't tell me, you cannot convince me they don't have those dungeon rooms somewhere as like an entity that spawns in, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me they don't have like dungeon room A, dungeon room B, corner C, like the hallways aren't individually like tiled and all that. You could do it.
That'd be a cool podcast to line up. We could interview somebody who is in charge of like localizing some of that, and they'd have that information.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that would be cool. That would be good, actually.
Write that down. Write that down. That might be a good
I'm
one.
making my little notebook.
You know, if there is somebody that'd be really funny to have on as a guest, though. You gotta get our boy, our video guy, yeah, Mike in here.
Mike, yeah.
Mike?
He does like a lot. He edits a lot of the videos for Nexon. Does like the some Mabinogi promo, Cartwriter. I keep running into him in the comment sections of different Nexon promo videos, and it's really funny.
He's such a nice added perk as a soul streamer. If we could just send him our Mabi videos and get him to edit it.
You know, he might. I'm not gonna speak for him, but I mean, he could. He might do it as a joke. Like, what if he edited this? It'd be kind of funny.
A good video idea. This is my finished
If
product
I
versus
see-
what he did.
I just got news that there is a massive chemical fire that is like right up the street from me. So I'm like looking out my windows. If I see quiet, I'm like looking to see like if I need to clear out here or not. That's a little bit weird.
Somebody created that dungeon a little too close to home, huh?
No, they stole your mixtape.
Absolute
Yeah.
fire.
Oh.
Honestly, I think that's unless you get something else to say, we could wrap it up here.
Yeah, we could wrap it up.
You know, with the chemical fire burning and all.
Yeah. I was gonna mention
Dude, I'm
recent
chilling.
events,
I'm big
but, like,
chilling. Like as long as it's not the wind doesn't blow this way, I don't care. I'm sealed up. My windows are closed.
so what do you guys think of the recent events? Like the Joe boost, the pet thing, whatever this is.
You haven't done them?
Listen, I haven't done the Joe boost thing or at all. I didn't do anything with combo cards. I think I still had the item in my inventory. I never even started the combo card thing. I haven't done the pet walking thing at all. The only thing I've done is the Summer Master Plan, and that's just for Stardust 2 times. I haven't even done the quest line for it. I'm kind of at the point where I don't really get much for doing these things.
All right, that's fair. So I guess that answers the question about how you feel about recent events. What about
Yeah,
you?
it's like
No
It's kind
way.
of the same. I haven't done them. I haven't done any of the events. But my reasoning is I just haven't really had time to sit down and do anything other than like record what I'll record and then get off the game and sleep. Sometimes stream a little
That's-
bit, but it just
fair.
hasn't really been in the cards for me to do anything. So I missed
Mhm.
completely the hype around the Purloin pet. I know I can still get them.
they're still
But-
here, yeah.
I have enough NX to maybe roll like for 2 of them, and I know my luck. I'm not gonna get it, so I'm just gonna save.
That's fair.
I'm just gonna save. I'm more of a dog person than a cat person, anyways. Unpopular opinion, maybe, but I'm
Same.
Team Corky's all day.
Same.
You know, and I have to agree. I'm more of a dog person.
Yeah, dog gang, let's go. Get these purloins out of here. With the annoying meow sound effect that we've heard too much because of FinSync or whatever it is.
Oh, the dumb rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why does it
Finny
meow?
something.
Why? Can we talk about that for a second? The sound design in Mabinogi is funny. When it comes to like
Yes.
what sound an animal should make, whoever is doing the sound design assumed it's everything either goes moo, meow, or makes a really weird guttural growl sound.
Honestly,
There's no in between.
a lot of the sounds from Mabinogi, I realize, are just stock sounds that they ripped. Like the wolves growling, it's just a stock sound that they ripped. There was something else I noticed. I'm like, wait a second.
Probably the bear too.
Probably, honestly.
I just think that it's funny that like the amount of animals that go moo in Mabinogi is just disproportionate and weird. It's funny. Reindeers? They moo, I guess.
Rabbits, they bark.
Yeah, rabbits just bark for some reason.
Except for one particular rabbit.
That one meows.
That one is all about meowing.
Oh my god, it'd be funny if the like Peerless cats made like a rabbit noise. What noise does a rabbit make? Hold on.
And you know what animal doesn't bark in Mabinogi? The dogs. The wild ones, not the new ones. They yip. But the regular, like, really, I don't like looking at their faces. The herd dogs that are just out in the fields with the sheep and stuff.
Oh, the brown ones?
Yeah, they creep me out. The more I look at them, the more like weirdly deformed. They have aged the worst.
Well, yeah, they were made in like 2007.
Yeah, the 07 dogs. Their face, this is like they have like a weird like buck teeth. They have a spotted black dot for their eyes.
I wonder if I can find a PNG of it right now. I want to see.
Imagine they released it as a pet. The 07 dog pet.
Dude, we had Jindos, we had Thunder Spaniels. Like, you can't tell me you couldn't do a dog better.
Yeah,
Thunder Spaniel, that was a funny one.
You know what event I wish they would bring to NA? It's a choice to switch back to Paladin.
Yeah.
Right, we don't have that. You know what'd be great? A choice to keep my pants.
Huh?
You
guys don't know about Falcon?
No, I'm not.
Falcons don't wear pants.
Falcon Wave, we have pants. Falcon Sage, you lose your pants and you grow these wings out of your back.
Well,
Falcon Sages don't wear pants.
The natural progression of things. You know what though? I feel that because Paladins have a similar issue.
Oh, the heals.
The combat heals. There is no differentiation between the models. Once you become a champion, you get high heal.
Yeah. Before I switched to Dark Knight, I stopped from going to the last stage of Paladin because of that.
It's just so funny.
That is only skill in the game that I still have rank 2.
You won't do it. You don't want to lose the pants.
Exactly. Keep my pants.
Understandable.
They're cool looking pants too.
I am anti-pants personally, so I don't see that as a big issue. There's a magnet that I want on my fridge. It says home is where the pants are not.
I agree with that.
That's fair.
Pants in my house? Hell no. Take them off
Get
and
out
come
of
through
here.
the door.
Get out of here. If you hear a lot of honking, people just forget how to drive when there's a fire, apparently. I don't know.
It sounds like it's getting pretty close.
It's far enough away that it's not a threat to me. It's just that the smoke is blowing in this direction, so it's like a similar thing to like the Canada issue.
Yeah,
but
up here was red.
Oh.
And that was going on. That was bad.
That yeah, all the pictures that came from that, and like the memes were, it's messed up because of what it was, but it's also kind of funny like seeing like people. It looks dystopian. Like we're in the cyberpunk era.
Yeah, somebody said that we were living in a Dune movie because of the way the sky looked.
Oh yeah, Dune. Yeah, the Dune. It's pretty. Accurate.
Yeah,
There
sorry
was
for all our secondhand smoke, by the way.
It's you know what? It's all good because the way I look at it, being a Michigander myself, a lot of folks from my state just go over to Canada before it was legalized to smoke anyway, so they just got it for free.
I don't think it's the kind of smoke they wanted, but
Probably not what they wanted, but I mean, hey, what they got is what they got. It's so funny. The relationship with my state and Canada is super weird to the point where, like, I don't know if this is normal, but it could be just a thing. Like, everyone in America does this. So correct me if I'm wrong. Fire, you can tell. Do you have a free passport into Canada that's just your ID?
What?
I think it was something like that when I lived in Ohio.
Yeah, it's close enough to it too to do that. Like for me,
Yeah.
my ID doubles as my passport, but only for Canada.
What state are you in?
Michigan. We're like I'm like right on the border of it. We're like buddies.
We're essentially neighbors.
Yeah,
We're literally
I
neighbors.
lived, I lived in Cleveland for a good while, and the only thing between us and Canada was a lake.
It's so funny. There's a convention called Yomicon, and it's like right on there's like a river and then the bridge to Canada. And the convention center's on the other side of the river. Some people get roaming charges for being in Canada, going to that convention. They get pissed off. And it's happened to me a couple of times. It's like, I'm not in Canada. I'm literally still here. But there's like there was a story where a bunch of people were like on a raft getting really drunk and floating down the river, and they drifted over into Canada. And the police over there, because they were too inebriated, they couldn't like send them back, so they had to like keep them there overnight to sober up and then send them back. It's like, we're sending drunk Americans over.
I didn't realize how
You
close
can have
we
these
were
back.
to Toronto.
Say what?
I didn't realize how close we were to Toronto.
Yeah, no, that's a bus ride. It's one bus ride.
Crazy.
I always just wondered if that was just like a Michigan, like any place that borders it, if that's how that worked, or if everyone's ID did that. Because the more I thought about it, like, I feel like this is just sort of like a localized thing. Because you can't use it anywhere
It might
else.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to
Which
stop
made
so
me-
many mishaps of like people accidentally crossing over.
Probably. And there's a lot of trade too between our specifically Toledo. I think is it Toledo? No, what is that place?
In Ohio?
No. I'm been mixed up here. The place is right across from Detroit. Windsor.
Yeah.
Windsor is literally just Detroit. But they have like a lot of trade back and forth between the places. So people who live in Detroit, a lot of people who do business probably go back and forth between Canada a lot. Specifically the casinos, I think they kind of collaborate with each other. I forget how that worked out, but there's some business there that's like they're the same business under a different name. So their employees do shifts in both places, which is very weird. I don't know how does that work? It's super weird.
Very carefully.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of paperwork.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that's not actually legal.
Well, they would just be paid off of like the residents. It'd be like almost like truck drivers, right? Like I'm assuming like deliveries and stuff sometimes have to go across the border.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's probably it.
That
The
type
border
shit.
patrol people over there are kind of funny, man. Kind of funny. mind you, I've only been a couple of times, but in those times, I have had very weird encounters with the people at the border. One time was very much warranted.
You gotta
I
tell
only
us
went
more.
once.
Huh?
You gotta tell us more. I gotta know.
Yeah, you went. Okay, so we were going for a convention. What was that convention? That's where I met. It's the one where I met a bunch of people. And I'm blanking on the name of it now. Anime North. Bada boom, bada. I went for Anime North, and I was going with a friend who was running a booth. They were gonna sell some merchandise. She didn't disclose to us that you can't really legally sell stuff in another country without the proper, paperwork for all that. So here we are crossing the border into Canada with a literal backloaded like SUV full of just anime merch. Like the whole back window is covered full of boxes and bags of this stuff, right? Clearly we're going to sell something. We get to the border and the guy like eyeballs the car, and the first thing he asks is, what brings you into Canada? Are you guys selling anything today? To which my friend, being the brilliant liar that he is, looks the person dead in the eyes and says, "Oh, this is just stuff for our girlfriends." And there's this long, quiet pause, and he doesn't buy it. Then he's just like, "All right, well, I need to see the passwords." And it made it a stink that I did not know this because I never really used the book passport at the time. This is my first time using my book passport, and I didn't know you're supposed to sign it. So he grilled me about it not being signed, but then goes back to the thing. So you guys are really not selling anything. They no, this is just for our girlfriends. And then as we leave, because he buys it, I'm like, he's not gonna buy that. He lets us go. Two of us lost the roulette at the time because he had to like do a COVID test. So I lost the roulette and had to do their COVID test, which was a whole nother funny story. But as we're going, one of my friends looks to him and says, "You know I'm gay, right?" And it's like, what does that matter?
Like that they have it on
That's
file that he's gay. And we're like, all right,
Yeah.
so we
Like,
found
yeah,
out
no,
you
there's
don't
no way
actually
you
have
could
a
have bought
girlfriend.
this for your girlfriends. Because clearly our records show that you're gay. So you're lying. You're illegally selling stuff here in Canada.
Out there checking your relationship status on Facebook based off your passport ID.
It checks the relationship status. It's like, name? What name? Full name. Why? Never mind, we found it. Just looks it up. But what's even funnier than that is the way they were doing the test. You had to do a video call with somebody to walk you through doing the test and then mailing it to the lab. And my person was late. I'm sitting here waiting, and then they don't show up until like about 5 minutes after they said they're supposed to be there, maybe a little longer than that. And he's using the little filter where it blurs out your background, but it isn't like all that great. Like I could clearly see dude was gaming. He had his gamer chair. He had the headset. He's putting down the controller as he's coming onto the call. And I'm like, bro, are you playing Fortnite right now? It's like, no, I'm not playing. I'm not. Anyways, let's go through this. I'm pretty sure you're playing Fortnite. He's like, don't get me fired, all right? It's just funny. It's funny. My person who's in charge of my test was clearly playing Fortnite before. He's running a squad. That's why he was late.
That's so funny.
That was my experience. Other than like being very confused. I don't know how normal this is, but I saw a booth at Anime North that was manned by a kid. Couldn't have been more than like 12 years old. Selling weed products. I was like, I don't know if that's just, I mean, I know it was legal here for a very long time. So I don't know if this is just like no big deal. but that was my only culture shock moment in Canada. I don't know if that's my tangent. It's over. Culture shock.
So he was selling stuff that you wouldn't be able to sell in the US?
I seriously doubt that would fly. Like, I'm not saying it can't happen, but like at a booth at a con, like just seeing anything weed related at a convention in and of itself is very.
Oh,
very...
you're saying weed. I thought you said weeb, like with a B.
Oh no. Like a 12-year-old slinging weed.
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that. That doesn't seem right. Like, that's not a norm here. I mean, unless they're like bad kids in middle school, but like.
I was just like, it didn't dawn on, like, we were talking about that on the way back. Like, yeah, that was a kid. He's like, yeah, that was
Like one of those
what
things
the
you didn't
hell?
process in the moment until afterwards.
Yeah, because he talked to him about the products, and the thing is, the kid was like, he knew his stuff, and he was talking to him about everything, and then he walked. Oh yeah, I'll keep that in mind. And as he walked away, we're like, that was a kid. What? He's like, oh yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad parenting, honestly. Like, if the kid was smart about the subject, maybe, but.
Like he had to answer to every question, but at the same time, it's like, but how do you know this, kid? How do you know that?
Yeah, weird leads. Like, weed's legalized here now. I feel like it's like a gray area. Like, is it a good thing to have your kids be an entrepreneur in weed dealings, or?
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't have the answer for that one. I was just perplexed.
I just picture like a scene where it's like, Spartans, what is your profession? But it's just like this kid standing there like, you don't want to know.
Marijuana.
I picture the scene like straight out of Shameless.
Shameless? You watch Shameless too?
Oh,
hell
yeah.
That was such a surreal thing to watch as the pandemic happened, seeing them incorporate that into the plot.
Yep.
So weird. Well, I talked about like my culture shock moment. Have you ever been to the States?
Not since I was like a young kid, like to the point where I don't even remember anymore.
Oh,
But
oh man.
we
When
are
you come out to
planning-
Cali.
Cali? How come?
They're gonna look. You're gonna come out to Cali. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'd put a bet on that.
You might as well just brace yourself, because you're gonna get the crash course on everything like about America.
I am planning to do like a US tour at some point, and using like food places that we don't have in Canada as like an anchor point, and then just exploring the region from there. So like so far, I can't even remember the places, but I have a long list.
You have no reason not to have the combination Applebee's and IHOP on that list. It's literally right. It's right next door to you. It's in Detroit.
Applebee's is one of them. We have an IHOP here, but what's that burrito place?
Oh, Chipotle?
Yeah, you know, my man's Kanye talking about Chipotle. I gotta hit it up.
Might be a hot take, but you should substitute Chipotle for Qdoba.
Never heard of it.
It's basically the same thing, but it's less expensive. Oh, you know.
I can't.
You don't agree?
Not where I'm at. No, the Qdobas out here are
You're lacking?
dog water. Ugh. Dude, like the stuff's either burnt or like chewy. It's just not good.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what it is. I think it's might be like specifically the local place. But
I believe it. Like,
I don't know why they're still in business. I don't know who eats there.
For me, like, IHOP is one of my favorite chain restaurants of all time, and then when we finally get one in my city, it's the worst IHOP on earth.
Yeah.
So I believe it. It just, Qdoba is weird to me because they're like Five Guys in terms of like how, I won't say tyrannical, but they will like have secret people come and review the restaurant, and if it's like a bad review, then everybody's in trouble. Versus if that secret shopper was very pleased, like if everything was clean, the food was good, then everybody gets a bonus for that week. So it promotes you to always like, just give it your best. But I don't know, like I haven't been to a bad Qdoba, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist. That just is so surprising. It's sad to hear, because like I'm a big Qdoba defender, man. There's a whole turf war going on in my city because we're getting a Chipotle, and everyone's like, we don't need it, we don't want it, and then the Chipotle gang's like, no, it's about time, and it's just war.
Yeah, where I'm at, Qdoba is not very good, and Chipotle is like premier.
I challenge you, Hero, to try both and then decide for yourself. Because
don't try Qdoba out here. Try it out where he's at.
Yeah, try our Qdoba.
Then compare. Yeah.
And when you're in California, try Whataburger.
I want to try Whataburger and In-N-Out as well.
I think that I haven't tried it. I don't think I've tried In-N-Out. Wait, no, reverse that. I've tried In-N-Out. I never tried Whataburger. And I think that In-N-Out was overhyped and underdelivered.
Oh, that hurts my soul. I've been looking forward to it for almost
But that's
a
just
decade.
me. I'm not. It may be different. Your mileage may vary, and also I could have gone on a bad day, because when I went, that line was like around the door, and everybody looked stressed out. I think that I was there. That was the first time I ever went to California, and my mom. It was the best and worst trip ever because my mom got really high. And it led to some shenanigans that it led us to some places where I'm like, we got to get out of here. That was when I went to Campfire, but
those are always the best memories.
Like I could tell y'all stories all day about the dumb stuff that happened during that trip. I got in the Universal Studio for free though. That was cool. But it was because my mom was very high. I got to Universal. I learned that the staff at Universal Studios in California are very they're cool people. But they don't want to do it. They're like, you know what? You could just go.
What was she saying to get in?
We'll allow it. What's up?
Was she just like shooting bullshit out to like get in?
She was convinced that they had a policy where if it was your birthday, you could go in and at a discounted rate. And they were trying to explain that doesn't exist. That they don't do any like birthday thing, or they didn't have it scheduled for a birthday thing, because we were gonna. I always said for my birthday, I always wanted to go to I want to do something special for my birthday. But since my birthday, there's two problems with what was going on. First of all, my birthday, it was not my birthday at all. Just straight up wasn't my birthday. But two, they didn't have you got to go in advance, and the birthday packages weren't what she was describing. And the person was like, you know what? Happy birthday, man. And just gave us passes. He's like, wait here a second. It is. Let us go.
It's actually so prime.
That was cool. But at the same time, they had every right to be like, what are you talking about? No. That was my awkward story there. But December birthdays, my birthday's 2 days after Christmas.
Yeah,
literally
you can't really do much.
Nothing. Either if you plan something with people, nobody's got money to do anything. Michigan, so it's snowed out. It's just a no-go. So I usually try to plan something later if there is a celebration. And that was what they're trying to spring on me as a surprise, but nobody really
planned it.
Yeah, it was no real plan at all. So that was And it didn't help that my mother was. I'm throwing her under the bus because she's funny. My mom is funny, but she was two kinds of inebriated. She was high and potentially also not sober.
Stoned to the bone.
She was really like enjoying California too much when they found out that California, because at the time like weed wasn't really legalized fully in a lot of places, but in California it'd been legal. In fact, you could have it delivered to you, which was a disaster because she kept ordering that, which made my grandmother, who was there with me, very angry. It's funny. Like, I'm spilling too much tea, though. I'm getting dizzy and too personal. I should shut up.
Honestly, it's life. It's fine.
It's funny. It was funny, but it was the best and worst trip ever. Like, getting to Campfire, I got lost in Skid Row.
What? How?
Because the place that Campfire was being held at was literally right around the corner from what would have been considered Skid Row. It's like you walk a little bit and turn a corner and you are just surrounded by homeless encampments. And it was admittedly very scary. And my dumbass is walking around in a shark onesie following GPS thinking it's going to take me to the place. And it was very weird. Like, I think I shared a picture one time where like someone was following me. There's a dude who was clearly on something, and he kept saying like, "You want to see me do a backflip? Like I could do it like right here on the side of the street." Like, nah, man, it's cool, dude. It's all good, man.
Were you alone?
Walking through Skid Row?
Yeah.
Well, I got dropped off and ended up back through Skid Row, so I was alone with the shark ones walking around there. Yes.
The shark onesie honestly probably protected you. They probably thought you were in the same boat as them.
Probably. It was like natural camouflage. Like I had my camera, like I was recording a lot of stuff. I cut some footage. I might still have it. I might actually still have it. Because there's a lot of stuff that I just didn't use from that trip. But I was lost in like the downtown, like actual California strip because Bird Box at the time was new. It was coming out. And they were doing promotions for it. And this is where like I just learned that like a lot of stuff is pre-planned, like in terms of challenges and memes, that they're just industry planted memes. Because there was a dude who asked me if I wanted to be blindfolded to step onto this bus, and I'm like, you got to give me more context, dude. Like, what do you mean? And he's like, oh, dude, this is it's gonna be huge. It's Bird Box. Like everyone's gonna be talking about it. It's gonna be a Bird Box challenge. People are gonna be doing this all the time, anyways. So let me blindfold you and go onto this bus. It will be recorded for promotional purposes, but it's not shady at all. I'm like, no, that sounds. I said no. I did get to like walk on and look at the bus to see like, can I see what it is? Like, okay, normally we can't do this, but I'll let you do this, man. I'll let you look. And I saw like, it's just seats on a bus, and I guess like they want us to wear headphones. I'm like, nah, I'm good on that one, man. He's like, all right, man, but like at the very least, if you got time, do the Bird Box challenge. Try doing anything blindfolded around your house. I'm like, okay, whatever, man. A month later, Bird Box drops, and then all of a sudden, it's the viral trend of people doing stuff blindfolded, the Bird Box challenge.
If I was with you, I would have gotten on the bus.
Look, hey. as a group, all right. We in this together. By myself, I don't know, man. It was all in his approach. If he explained it better, I probably would have.
Yeah, it probably just seemed sketchy.
And it was a raggedy old bus too. That's the other thing, was it didn't look like a fancy bus. It was like a raggedy looking antique dusty bus painted all black.
Get tetanus from it?
It looked like you would have. It really did. And I was already like not feeling it. Like I had California kind of win for me walking around that strip, because my idea of the Hollywood walk and seeing the stars on the walk was vastly different than whatever the hell I had experienced, which was also back-to-back NPC like encounters with people who were all on some other form of substance. I wasn't feeling it. And I'm dressed as a shark still during this time.
Speaking of NPC, so I always entertain the people that have approached me with like NPC like activity, right? Before I moved here, So it's like a huge like waterfront like city, right? Um,
Uh-huh.
we were all downtown for my birthday drinking, and we all got food, and we're walking back to the hotel, and there was like this homeless lady that said she like if we had any food, and we're like or any money, and I was like, no, but we have food, we can give you that if you want. And she's like, what is it? And I'm like, well, it's like a pizza roll. And she's like, ah, man, I can't take that. I don't like eating gluten. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I have like fried pepperoni too. And she's like, ugh, meat? I can't eat that. And I was like, what are you doing? You just had so much free food offered to you.
Oh my god.
Like,
That needs to be a bit. Oh,
Apparently, beggars can be choosers.
apparently so. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but
meat? Look, can you just give me some money?
sorry, got none.
All right, look. Do you have like a coupon for Outback Steakhouse, like one ribeye steak?
No, but I get
You
some
can't
food
be giving
on
me
me.
no McDonald's now.
Can't be
You
eating
have
McDonald's.
some non-GMO, organic, just like straight up vegetables.
Can I just have your shoes?
Maybe your shirt.
Oh gosh, some people are bold, man.
Yeah. You know what? I can't wait for like the next meetup because I hope I run into NPCs. It's just gonna be so fun.
Guaranteed. Being code red it to somebody, I cut it out of the video because it was a bizarre encounter, and in my head, I'm just thinking there is a near 100% chance this guy is homeless. And Code is talking to him about the housing crisis. I'm like, I feel like this guy doesn't have a house. Code.
He doesn't even have to worry about the housing crisis.
And sure enough, as we're walking, we see him walk toward the encampment, and we're both like, "Oh."
That's so funny.
I was recording for our own safety. Truthfully, I was like, I'm just recording in case like something weird happens because we're walking. That was when we were walking to the office, but that was like our encounter because the guy was just like he zeroed in on the fact that we were recording and thought we were like rightfully pegged us as YouTubers, but was talking about like what kind of stuff we were doing. We were like, oh, we're just making a video, you know. It was like a conversation we kind of got forced into. We're trying not to engage. But that was the only like NPC encounter. Now last time, and I'm sure you remember this, Fire, the dude outside of the convention center saying that everyone's going to hell.
Oh right. Oh man, I don't think. We didn't record that.
We didn't record it, which is sad because the scene went viral because somebody dressed as a succubus and was like twerking next to him while he's saying you're all going to hell.
Hilarious. It wasn't just one either. It was like a group. There were like groups on both sides.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That was so hilarious. And also, the people that year, the people selling the hot dogs were extra aggressive about selling them.
True.
We joked about the possibility, like, what if you just accepted one from each booth? Like, you had to buy one every time it was offered. Like, how full would you be?
Have like a hot dog counter on the screen going.
Yeah, like, you have to. That was the funniest year because it just seemed like it was a little bit more it wasn't nearly like this year was rough. Like, it was fun, but that convention center was pushed to a limit that I think was more so than the year that we went.
Really?
Fire. I think
Are
so.
you sure? Like, is that even possible? Like it was already sardines, you know?
Well, look, to put it into perspective, like there was a moment, like there was a hallway, right, where we were like suffering to get through. And then the main hall after a while also did fill up like crazy. Like we shot our stuff at the most opportune moment. This year, That room never had a down moment. It was so packed that they weren't letting people go back in through the doors by the food trucks. They had to make people wait until some people left the building before they could let more
Wow.
people into the building because they were at capacity. Like they legally could not allow any more people into the building. I remember I'm like, we had to do like what I call the cop meta. We had to follow a police officer to get people to move out of our way to get through one of the main halls. It was bad.
Jeez.
It was so I felt bad for Dan running around like finding people. The line to get in was pretty chaotic. It was it was way rougher than the first time. The first time, like, it all worked out, right? Like, we got in pretty easily. That didn't happen. We had to wait in the line.
I think there was a line before, but I think we kind of got there early enough. I guess there's no early enough when the line gets long enough, right?
Yeah, that's true. There was like a line to get into the line. Like, we did go through a line, but like that line was nothing compared to this line. Like we went like around the block. This is like around the block and then around the block and then there's like 2 lines.
They still have the like narrow exits too.
Yes. Yep.
Jeez. I don't know how they get permission to legally operate like that. That seemed like just a hazard waiting to happen.
It really did. It still does.
It's straight up dangerous. I'm laughing a little bit, but like at the time I was like one thing happens that people want to escape from, and this whole thing turns into a nightmare so fast because like those like they had it sectioned off so that you could only go out certain doors. Like how long did we looked around for an exit, didn't we?
Yeah.
The one time
We were literally trying to find the exits. There were like only a couple.
Like we got to one, they're like, no, you can't leave here. You have to go through one of the actual exits.
What?
Because wasn't there like there's like they had like an area that was only for people that were over 21.
Yep.
And there was a staircase that you could like there was clearly a staircase that went down from there to the street level, and we couldn't go down the staircase. They had it blocked off because it wasn't one of the exits that they had.
Like, this is not a certified exit. You can't leave. And they want to enforce that whole like badge, you tap in, tap out policy because they don't want badge sharing to be a thing.
Yeah. And then we went down to like almost like the parking garage, and we couldn't get out there either.
Nope. We had a harder time leaving the convention than getting into it.
Yeah. It's like they had like 2 major entrances and like 3 exits, but all the exits were like narrow pass to leave.
Super long lines. And it's weird because like this was after the controversy this time with the whole Travis Scott thing. But if any reporter like looked at how they were running things at Anime Expo, I think that they'd be in big legal trouble because there's multiple areas where like crowd crush would easily happen and be worse than what happened at like that Travis Scott concert, and even arguably worse than that incident that happened in Korea last year.
Are you talking about the one in Japan? Is there one in Japan?
No, so Japan is really interesting because I was at the Shibuya Halloween party when that happened, and I kept seeing the news on the trains. They kept showing the news of like all this crowd crush and like tape in the alleyways, and I thought it was Japan, and I almost didn't go because I'm like, something must have happened at the Shibuya crossing, until like I looked close, like, oh, that's Korea. So as a reaction to what happened, they made the Shibuya Halloween thing way more strict, like within a day. So they had officers on every like street corner and enforcing a rule where you have to keep walking through any of the alleyways. You can't stop and stand. You have to keep moving, which led to that exchange between me and the cop when I'm wearing that stupid alien cop. And he's yelling at me. Although a friend of mine translated, and I guess the cop was not being as mean as I thought he was. He was essentially saying to stop saying yes to taking pictures of people. He's like, you gotta say no. So at least he understood. So that made me feel a little bit better. But like at the time, like I'm about to get us deported, about to get us kicked out of the country. But they, as a reaction to the crowd crush, changed how they run things. Cause that was a crowded event. Like that was
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only
on
imagine.
par with what we went through at Anime Expo, if
Yeah.
not.
I feel like Expo is like one major incident from not a good situation.
Yes, they have to change that. That's something they seriously need to consider. If it's capping a badge sales, they need to cap badge
Yeah.
sales.
Yeah.
Because clearly that convention has outgrown the convention center or something. Because that was ridiculous. I felt bad. I have all the respect. Shout out Dad, Soul Streamers, for still making everything work, because I think he got pushed to his limits this year. But it's not his fault. It's just that's the way the convention work. I'm not used to that either. And you aren't either. You go to
yeah. No, that was wild for conventions. That was not at all the experience that I've had at conventions before.
How about you, Hero? You go to a lot of cons?
Not typically. All the ones on the East Coast are kind of lame.
Ouch.
Well, like
Dang.
East Coast of Canada, like where I'm at, okay?
Okay, I'll take that.
Like,
I got you.
I don't know, they're not really big, and then like a lot of the times, like there's a lot of controversy surrounding them because they're so small, and like some of the people are weird.
On drama.
Yeah, a lot of drama. So I was like, I'm just not even gonna bother getting involved in this.
Conventions have some of the funniest, saddest, creepiest, and scariest controversies that if it ever hit mainstream, that you can make a actual sitcom or documentary about
Netflix
what
documentary.
happened. Easily. I worked for one called Shudocon, and they might as well call it Divorce Con, because we were like the children in the middle of a bad breakup. It was so awkward. But that's a story. That's a story for another day. But
I went to Colossal Con the one year they had a tornado.
Oh my god.
Oh
That
god.
was
Look, listen.
Everyone's outfits get ripped away by the tornado.
I'm sorry, there were two questions at once. What was going on?
Mine was nonsensical, so you can go, nerd.
Oh, I would say, like, real talk, we should have a Soul Streamers meetup at Colossal Con.
I'm down. That one's an easy one to go to.
It's at a water park, for context. It's at the Kalahari Water Park Resort Con. It's a beach con.
It's right next to Cedar Point.
Right there. We could go to Cedar Point right after. I get us the hookup. I got a buddy who he always knows somebody that works at the hotel, so he gets the same rooms every year, but he only uses the extra ones for like a room cafe that he's not supposed to run. But I come to help out with that, and then I get to keep that room for free. So like, we could get a green room for the Soul Streamers, and they have individual rooms in it, so it's not like we're all like sharing beds or anything.
That'd be dope.
It'd be pretty cool.
It would be rad.
Get Kofu in on it too.
Hell yeah. Let's just like have Soul Streamers. Like, if we're gonna do the con meetup thing, maybe like we spread it out and go to different conventions.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think like planning IRL content would be cool too.
Hell yeah. I'm super down to film anything IRL. If there's a meetup and you have an idea, just consider me down, man. Consider me down immediately.
Like, I think it'd be fun to have a bunch of us like cooking Mabby food like to looks and getting people to like taste it and judge it.
Yes.
Just you're not allowed to do the fruit salad anymore.
You know, I often have nightmares where I'm back at that moment where I have to eat it. The taste is burned into my brain as like a dark memory that I want to forget.
And the
I
fact,
definitely felt
like,
it.
what was it? You didn't even have like, what was it? You didn't have,
Mayonnaise.
was it mayo? So you
I
had to
Miracle
use,
Whip.
yeah.
I have not eaten fruit salad since that day. There has been moments where there's been family functions where fruit salad's being. I didn't touch it. I won't touch it.
Truly
I'm good on it.
traumatized.
I'm traumatized. It is trauma. Like it could be the best fruit salad in the world. I won't eat it. I'm good because it to me, I'll just the sour, dank taste of Miracle Whip will still creep back up on me. I only touch mayonnaise and Miracle Whip. Come to think of it.
Miracle
I'm
Whip's
good
the
on all
worst
that.
offender out of all the mayonnaise.
Wait, what?
Miracle Whip's the worst offender out of all the mayonnaise.
It is. It is. I
It's
unfortunately
not
at
even the
time
same category.
household that swears by Miracle Whip and nothing else. And it's like I can't do it. Everyone's like blowing my phone up saying it. The city's stinky. Everything's stinky. Yep.
Stay inside.
This reminds me of the start to that movie, This Is the End.
Oh. Wait. Was that an apocalypse movie?
Yeah, with like
Yeah.
Seth Rogen. They literally just play
no.
themselves.
I'll watch that.
You have to watch it today, honestly.
I've seen that movie like 3 times.
It made me mad. Not that it was a bad movie. It made me mad because I watched it after watching back-to-back duds. So I was on this binge where I wanted to watch like I like post-apocalyptic movies or doomsday movies.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something that happened in that movie that has pissed me off. And I think it was, I'm just sick of Seth Rogen. I think that's it. I think I'm just sick of Seth Rogen. Because there's just this joke that he does. I don't know. Unpopular opinion. I don't think Seth Rogen's all that funny. And he keeps showing up in stuff everywhere. And I can't escape him. I was even watching the Mario movie and he was Donkey Kong. And I was like, I hate this. It's just him. It's just him. I watched the Chip and Dale movie. Seth Rogen cameo as all the Seth Rogen characters doing the Seth Rogen laugh. It's like this joke is over the latest welcome in my book, and I'm done with it.
You heard it here first. Mobby Nerd starting the Seth Rogen anti-fan.
He wants him canceled, find something.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a Seth Rogen hater. He wrote the Ninja Turtles movie. He made the new Ninja Turtles movie, and that's apparently really good. I had to watch that.
Oh, it's a movie. I thought it was a TV show.
Laugh in there. Huh?
I thought it was a TV show. I haven't really been following it though.
Oh no, it's a movie. It's supposedly really good.
Well, they got Ice Cube in it, so.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I'm gonna watch it. I just have a bingo card. Like, if Seth Rogen's in it, is he gonna do the laugh?
Oh yeah,
check it.
He's probably gonna do the laugh.
Always. Well.
Okay.
Yep.
I got food being cooked and stuff going on.
It sounds good. Honestly, this went on for double the length I thought it was going to, so I do think this is a good spot to end it.
All right. Well, this was fun.
Okay.
Sorry I woke up late.